Hello and welcome to another episode of Video Game Logic. Today's show was recorded on July the 18th, 2017. I'm your host, Game Psychologist, and with me, as always, my other anniversary partner.
Oh my, Caffeine Rage.
Indeed, on today's show we will of course be discussing the games that we played. We're going to be talking about Alex Maurer and her DMCA saga. Runescape goes mobile. Evolve, that is the LAN software, returns. We have some news regarding itch.io. We've got a general topic. We're going to be discussing Steam Direct now that it's live. We'll have our weekly community corner and our Steam weekly discovery queue. Hello, Rach. Oh, wait, timestamps will be in the show notes following their respective topics. I remember it. It's fine. You didn't get a chance to answer, so it's fine.
You were just so eager to see how I was doing.
I am. I was. I mean, I know how you're doing. We've been talking for like an hour at this point before we even started the real show. But, you know, I gotta... That's how I start every show. How are you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I've had a little bit of back issues the last couple of days, so I'm a little light on games this week. But overall, you know, I guess I needed some time to rest anyway.
Indeed.
I caught up on sleep because, you know, the last, well, I would say 2 months, I just haven't been sleeping all that well anyway, so it's just bumped on nerves and everything, so it's more just, you know, body's like, okay, time to de-stress.
Right.
Well, yeah,
right.
Without, yeah, this de-stress and relaxing without the whole, you know, messing yourself. Yeah, the good type.
Right.
Well, unless you're into that sort of thing.
I like de-stressing and relaxing. A lot. I haven't been doing very much of that either this past week. So the amount of people that have been fired went from 3 to 5.
What, did they have an orgy?
Apparently. And now I've got 8 more cases. So that's fun. Yay. I've been working a lot more than I usually do. I mean, I put in, like, normally I work
it's
like 30
her comment about you being a lazy bum here.
Yeah. Normally I work about 30 hours a week, which is great. I love it. This past week, and probably this week, I'll work closer to 50 hours, just trying to catch up and get everything fixed.
What? It's almost like you have a real job or something.
Yeah, it's like I have a real job these last couple of weeks, or last week and this week. Tomorrow's going to be pretty good, though. I have 4 people, or four sessions that got canceled. So I'm going to have a lot of time sitting in the office to actually do some of the other things I need to do. So I won't have to work tomorrow night. I can just come home, edit the podcast, and then play games. And that will be lovely. If I work hard enough and fast enough, I might even get to edit the podcast tomorrow during the day. And then I can just come home and play games. And that would be nice. I miss playing games. I played very few games this past week. So yes, my list is also quite small. When we get to that...
Yeah, which are we?
Are we? Are you ready to?
Oh no, are you?
I don't know, are you?
Are you?
Are you?
Huh?
We should probably stop doing this and just go talk about the games we played this week.
Is now the point where we just irate bills? Or is that later?
No, I'm not...
We'll leave that for the community corner.
Okay. That's fine.
We should buy him dinner or something.
Yeah. By the way, he's saying Mills, not Mells, in case anyone is wondering. It's Million Lights.
What, is my accent getting in the way again?
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. It could just be Skype, too.
Well, there's a reason why I always accentuate the Z and Mells.
Fair enough. Good point. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the games that we played this week. This was going to be a little bit weird, because we talked about Jump last week, and both of us signed up for the, I don't know, beta X, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we just signed up and got in. So.
And, yeah, we're going to do one together, then I guess we could do one separately, and then one together.
We could do that. We could be like a little team this week.
Yeah, for once.
Yeah, so
let's do this one together. Oh, my.
Aw, yeah, doing it together, baby. So Jump.
Yeah, Jump. Ugh.
It's not great.
Oh, good. I'm not the only one that's going to say, no, sir, I don't like it.
It's not great. So the games that are on it so far,
yeah, there's to be fair. Decent. Well, to be fair, I wasn't expecting the 60-some games that they were touting. This is essentially their soft launch and getting a feel for how things go. And there were 6 or 7 when I originally played, and they've added a couple more since the last weekend to the service. So I was expecting just a handful of games, but it does not run well.
No. I guess we can talk about the service itself, and then
let's talk.
If you want to make any mention of the games that you played.
The main mention would be more technical issues than anything else. Perhaps that's the thing, is that it's a little hard for me to tell because I only owned one out of the 6 or 7 games, so I could only do a direct comparison of one of them.
Okay.
But let's see, the service itself. I think we both assumed that there was going to be some sort of compression or some sort of streaming of files to get the game up and running, and then stream the rest in the background.
Yep.
There isn't.
Nope. It downloads the whole thing.
Every single time.
Every time. Yep.
Yeah, and I clocked, I think it was Teslagrad maybe, or one of the other ones, at 2 minutes and some change, 2:30 per startup. I mean, if I wanted a game to load that slow, I would load it off of a damn audio cassette.
Yeah. DOS games launch faster than that.
Well,
floppy-based games launch faster than that.
No. You do know that there was way back in the early 80s, games did come on audio cassettes, right?
Yeah, I know.
And that was about the load time of a good chunk of games, was 2 to 5 minutes. And I hesitate to even think of something weightier, because I will say I don't have an amazing connection. I have it probably about average these days, but I like to think that people that would be getting into this that aren't huge gamers, they won't have the high-end package or the average internet connection. They'd be below the average. And
what's your connection speed?
My connection, when I did a speed
or your advertised connection speed, I guess.
Well, my advertised is, I think, 60 down, and I was getting 52 when I was downloading, or when I was testing it during this. So, about the national average.
Okay, so yeah, that's the same connection speed I have, 60 megs down. But I have turbo boost, which is stupid because my connection speed varies regardless. But yeah, I had.
Wait, what are you doing with the overclocking software on my motherboard?
Spectrum turbo boost, but I don't think it's down. I don't even think it's downloading at that speed though.
No, I actually did some calculation, and for Teslagrad, assuming, because Teslagrad was the one that I tried out that I had the longest download speed with, I was getting, I think, 40-ish, if I recall correctly, for the amount of time, assuming that the advertised required specs on Steam is the full download, or the full size of the game.
Yeah.
And that's just ballparking completely, but yeah, it's just everything is very slow, and I wasn't expecting instant loading, but I was expecting under 30 seconds for everything. Only thing that loaded instantly was the RPG Maker game in it. Yeah.
So the game that I played the most that I liked was Acorn Assault, and it's like a 3-ish gigabyte game. Like, you could just tell because the whole thing's sitting in your cache or in your system memory.
I never hunted that down.
Oh yeah, I opened up all of that and was taking a look. The whole thing sits inside your system memory, so it could be possible that you could not use this service if you don't have enough RAM. Like, if you're thinking,
I didn't even think of that. The fact that I didn't think that they would load it to RAM. What the fuck are they thinking?
Yeah, it was like 3 gigabytes sitting in RAM that this game was using. And I was like, well, I mean, that's fine since I have 16 gigs of memory, but a lot of pre-built systems that people buy, like laptops or more budget computers you buy in stores still only come with like 4 gigs of RAM. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll use this service to play it on my family machine or whatever, you only got 4 gigs of RAM, you're probably not playing many of these games. I mean, some of them are pretty small, but some of them are also pretty large. And you've also got to be running the app at the same time.
Yeah, which, I hate the app.
Yeah, the app's terrible.
Yeah, which, I'm just doing a quick check on my system. I have, just shy of 16 gigs because, how everything runs.
Right.
I'm using right now 4.5 gigs of RAM. So if I had, eight gigs instead of 16, I would not have a lot of room for this. Granted, I don't think you'd want to run anything that has a lot of space anyway. But yeah, but anyway, was it just me, or I was experiencing? It felt like some micro stutter with this system.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the issue was, but all of the games that I tried did not run well either. It didn't seem to matter what I did to any of the graphics settings in the games that had them. I don't even know if these games are running off of my GPU.
That's something I didn't test, was if it was running off GPU or not, because I didn't even think of that. But I was noticing, I tried The Bridge, which was the only game that I had both access to in Jump and in my actual library. And for one, loading it in, under 5 seconds versus the, I want to say 30, 45 seconds. Obviously where I'd want to play it, but it was, it felt very, very sluggish. And I think a lot of this is that it's running it in, if you don't get a full screen, it's running in a little tiny window on the app.
Yep.
Which is just terrible. Then if you go to full screen and you want to, let's say, do something absolutely crazy like, I don't know, pause the game. What happens?
Well, I had a couple of games crash.
For me, if I pause the game, it shrunk it back down to the app.
I did not have that happen.
But because normally, you pause a game by hitting escape.
Escape, right? But that would exit out of the full screen window.
Yes. And I'm just sitting here thinking, why are you doing this?
Yeah, I had a couple of games that would just close when you'd hit escape, and I had a couple that would crash. I didn't try all the games, but I tried, I think, 5 of them. 5 or 6 of them. So, yeah. Also, like, the games just ran poorly.
Yeah.
Every game that I played had issues. Like, for example, Acorn Assault. I mean, that game was not a demanding game. It's like a turn-based strategy game. You get like a little deck of cards and you build stuff on like a playing field, and your little squirrel people shoot each other. I think it's like based on the French Revolution, except with squirrels. It's a cute concept. I actually really liked the game and everything, but it just ran like ass. It looked bad. It stuttered. It constantly froze. It couldn't hold a steady frame rate to save its life. It definitely never got above 30. It might have not even gotten to 30.
Well, I wasn't able to test the frame rate just because I couldn't get DxTory to load for it. And I was having trouble even getting OBS to attach to anything.
XSplit could grab the windows, so I was looking at it in XSplit. And that's how I figured out...
Well, I like to think that if I can get something to work with OBS or DxTory, it's probably not worth my time.
Yeah. But, that's how I come up with the idea that I didn't think it was using my graphics card, because my CPU would be pegged out on 1 or 2 cores. And I mean, I've got an i7 4790K, so it's not a slouchy processor at all. And it would just peg out 1 or 2 of the processing cores, and then everything else would be dead. And I didn't, at the time when I was doing that, I ran out of time and I had to go do something else, so I couldn't fire up MSI Afterburner or anything to check on my GPU.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just didn't give a shit after that point because I was really frustrated with the service because I was pretty excited to try it.
Well, afterwards, something I've been toying with, this isn't a game, but I've been toying around with RX Control, which is the Logitech software.
Interesting. Tell me more. I like Logitech.
Well, for one, it runs off of the smartphone.
Huh.
So I'm able to sit here and look at my CPU or all my computer stats off this. Granted, I didn't use it with Jump because I didn't think of it, and something I've just gotten up and running the last couple of days. But it runs off the Logitech software, so that's probably what I'm going to be using. It sees the CPU, it sees the GPU, and RAM, which is your main things that you need.
ARX control? ARX?
Yeah, ARX, sorry. Huh. You know me and pronouncing things.
Yeah. Wow. This is legit. I'm downloading this immediately.
Agreed, it does need the Logitech software, but I have it for my mouse anyway, so...
Well, I have it for my mouse and one of my headsets and my... I'm a Logitech guy, so I have a lot of Logitech stuff.
Yeah, and it also has it where you could mess around with the mouse settings, your DPI and everything on the smartphone. Change the profiles and that sort of thing.
I'm not going to mess with this too much because I might have to set something up, and I don't want to accidentally stop recording or anything like that, but later...
Well, I guess we're just going to have to add this to the games we played then, huh?
Maybe next time once I've had time to check it out. But, yeah.
I basically was getting this for diagnostic for later. But be able to sit here and glance down at my phone and see, my GPU isn't doing a damn thing. Is very useful without running MSI Afterburner.
Yeah, nice. I like that. So
a little bonus thing, but that's something that I should have checked with Jump, but didn't really think about it because I was assuming that it was just beta is beta, which well, usually beta is beta unless beta is just a server stress test.
Yeah, I'm gonna send in some stuff to them and ask a few questions. I just haven't had a chance. Like I said, my work week has been crazy, and I did this testing over the weekend when I had a little bit of free time.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I would have assumed that there would have been some sort of compression going on, or even it would be terrible for this type of service, but rips, where they tear down some of the extraneous stuff.
Yeah.
Or have the RIP version and the full version. So you can get up and playing immediately, and it downloads the rest in the background. I think that would have been the happy medium. Is you get the base system file screen. It's hard to tell if these games could support this or not, and this is a lot of back end stuff that would have to be done for Jump. But get the core game up and running, and then get like all the sound files and everything else. Because I think sound would probably be the biggest thing for most of these games.
Yeah. Did you try the web client?
No, I didn't.
I didn't either. I thought about it, but they specifically say on the web client, like, hey, this is unstable and definitely has issues. And so
I was disappointed with the actual client that I didn't even bother with the web client.
Yeah, I was too.
Besides, Chrome needs enough RAM. It doesn't need a bigger diet.
Yeah. As far as the actual design and layout of the client, that's not too bad.
It's not... I think it's going to be very, very cumbersome on the library once it gets more games, because right now, you're having to scroll left and right, which is terrible.
Yeah. And there's no way to organize the games either.
I think there is a way to set
favoriting them.
Yeah.
You can set favorites, but other than that, there's no way to organize them.
Yeah, I think if they wanted to do, if they're going to only have 60-some games, steal the Steam Grid.
Yeah, that would be nice. I'd be okay with that.
And also, the library has it where it has this absolutely massive window, and then your little bar at the bottom that has all the games.
There needs to be a tab on the left that says Games, and you can just go look at all games organized alphabetically. That would be fine. I mean, that would basically be the Steam Grid, but that would be good enough for this if they're only going to keep it to, say, 100 games or less. They do have search functionality, which I guess is okay, and then you can view your recently played games and your favorites, but they do need a way to be able to see all the games in their own separate screen, because the homepage, the thing at the top is way, way, way too big. where it's like showing off the games.
Mm-hmm.
That's way too big. Takes up way too much screen real
Well,
estate.
it's the same size whether or not you're playing the game or not.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the biggest thing, is if it was a lot smaller when a game wasn't active, then it wouldn't be nearly as bad. But I think, that's asking too much of the client, because they have it hard coded to do this almost smartphone-esque thing. Do you think they're planning on doing smartphones at some point? Because this does feel like an interface that would work on that.
Maybe.
Particularly how they have the game scrolling.
That might be a goal for down the line if this takes off on PC. I could see some of these games working pretty well on a smartphone. I mean,
particularly, I think most of them would work well with a gamepad.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't think Acorn or Salt would, but but
that would work fine with a touchscreen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and what I played was definitely gamepad compatible. So maybe that would be a lot better service, honestly. Granted, the whole downloading, a couple of gigs worth of a game every single time is still terrible.
Yeah. And a lot of phones don't have enough memory to support that either.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much system RAM. I'm just going to look. I'm going to Google that right now.
Yeah, and that's a big problem unless they could set it up where, you have a pay trial on like your SD card. But yeah, a lot of that's something I've noticed with smartphones, is that a lot of apps don't even touch the SD card. They all want to set on the system memory, or on the I should say the physical memory inside the phone.
So the Galaxy S8 only has 4 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, the S8 Plus doesn't have any more. It's just a bigger battery and a bigger screen. So, yeah. I mean, they could...
And more prone to explode, right?
Yeah. More prone. They could dump some of it in storage or put it on the SD card and then read from that and then, I guess, delete it later, but still. It looks like there's a couple of phones that have 6 or even 8 gigs of RAM, but there are not very many. Most phones have 2 or less. So, if they download the whole thing, they're going to have to store it in memory somewhere.
Yeah.
So overall, didn't really like the service very much.
At least we gave it a fair shake.
Yeah, do you think that you would like it if they made some improvements and changes to it, or is it just like they pretty much have to redo the whole thing for you to like it?
I think they may have to go back to the drawing board for me. I mean, I like the idea of it, but I didn't think that, the big thing is the startup speed. If they had it where it was an a la carte, maybe have it where you could only keep a couple in local storage.
Mm-hmm.
And I would at least assume, encrypted files as well, because, that would be just piracy haven otherwise, which I could understand. But, have some sort of encryption that could unencrypt the files. But that's the big thing, is that they talk about, not having to keep everything in storage, not having massive downloads, which, well, I should say massive files on your computer, which honestly, if your computer is at the point where having a 4 gig folder of indie games is a problem, you have a problem.
Clear out your storage or buy a bigger drive or something.
Delete some of the porn you don't use.
Who keeps porn stored on their computer nowadays?
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I guess so.
Go to PC Master Race and start looking around people talking about their data storage.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel... Okay, so... My biggest thing that makes me not want to use this is the performance issues of the game. I think what they're trying to do is sort of have their...
Well, I was assuming that at least part of that is some sort of beta issue. At least I hope.
It feels
so that's
like
what
what they're
kind of overlooking it.
It feels like what they're trying to do is have their cake and eat it too with this. Like, they're not doing flat out like game streaming, but they're not allowing you to install it and run it completely on your machine. So it suffers in both respects. You have to wait every time. It's the
weaknesses of both, but the strengths of neither.
Right. And they need to commit one way or the other. If they want to do a streaming service, then put some stuff on the back end so that you can run these games no problem and streaming to people. If you want to be just another way to deliver indie games to folks, that's fine. But make it more into a client like Steam or Origin or whatever, something like that, so that you can at least download some of these games and not have to suffer from, the long load times and the poor performance.
Yeah, very disappointing.
Yeah, I'm sad. Like I said, I'm going to go on their Discord channel or send them an email or something when I get a chance.
Just send them this segment.
Yeah, going to give them some of my feedback and ask them a few questions. Because I don't want to completely write this service off. I want there to be good game streaming services, and I want to be able to use them. Yeah. But this is not that, so... I do think I'm going to buy Acorn Assault, though. I really did like that game. Like Squirrel French Revolution is hilarious. So... And it's actually a pretty decent game with a little card battle system that makes sense. I like it.
wonder if this turn or have the same fate that OnLive did, where a lot of people was treating it as essentially a demo service.
Maybe.
Because do you remember OnLive?
Yeah.
And that was a big thing, was that they had OnLive had this thing where I think you could play for an hour or two, and that's enough for a good demo of a game. So a lot of people are going to OnLive, streaming the game for free for some time to try it out. Granted, I wouldn't exactly play a shooter or something, because you're doubling your lag if you're playing online, which is just terrible. And honestly, I tried. I don't even know what racing game it was, but just the lag time was just enough to throw you off. Granted, I'm sure once you played it enough and learned to compensate, it would have been fine. But yeah. It was treated more as a demo service, and it suffered for that. And right. I'm concerned that this may suffer the same fate. Someone goes in, pays $10, tries their entire library, finds games that they want to play, and just buys them on Steam, and doesn't renew. Granted, they're still getting the $10, but they're not going to get a lot of repeat customers.
All right, where were we? On to your first game, I guess?
Yeah. Or I guess I should say my only solo game.
Yeah, your only solo game.
Oh, Shadowbug. Speaking of games that are a bit of a disappointment. And here's the funny thing that happened to me with this, is that I put out the video, and then today, just before recording, I get, a nice little tweet. Oh, I love the video, and they retweeted it. And I guess they posted that before they watched it. Because I fire up TweetDeck later, and this tweet is unavailable. And I go to the actual tweet out for the Sunday sampler, and oh look, no retweets, huh? So yeah, Shadowbug. For one, it's a mobile port. Which you could already see where we're going with this, huh?
Probably.
Yeah, I was having some technical issues. Particularly, it doesn't have a true full screen mode, so every time my mouse would go near the bottom of the screen, the taskbar would come up and go over the game. A slight issue, because this is technically a platformer, and I guess it works as a platformer, but it's definitely a platformer that is built for phones. That it can work with a gamepad, but it's like trying to type with boxing gloves on. If you're not strong bad, you're not going to be able to do it.
Okay.
The whole idea of this game is you're a ninja bug thing, and you're trying to get through the level to basically save the forest from evil monsters or whatever. And you do this by killing things, because that's how you roll. And this is a platformer with no jump button. The only way to traverse the level is to chain kills, which actually works fairly well. And it's also kind of fun. But it comes up to the point where if you screw up, you have to get all your timing down pretty much perfectly. There's a very small margin of error for timing because a lot of the enemies, particularly in the mid stage, this game has, I think they said 36 levels, and I got in the mid 20s in 45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah, and I'm ballparking probably a 2 to 3 hour game just based on that. Particularly the fact that this is a mobile title, and yeah, they typically have shorter gameplays to begin with. And also a lot of it is trying to get 3 stars, or 3 shurikens in this case. See, ninja stars? Trying to get 3 ninja stars, shurikens, on each level, but there's really no incentive to do that because there's no bonus or required unlocks because they just unlock in sequence. I think this is the problem of going from mobile to PC is that there's just a complete change of expectations of a game. And I think that's fair to expect different things because mobile games are typically pick up and play for a little bit and put it down. While a PC game, you usually have some sort of investment in time. Usually. I mean, you do have games that are built around playing 10, 15 minutes, but those are more of a rarity than anything else.
Yeah.
And it disappointed me because I really wanted to like this game, and I did like it for the most part. It's just the technical issues, the fact that it doesn't have a proper full screen, and it does have to tell you the quality of the mobile port, it has a sound slider, an independent sound slider. So it does have that going for it, which is nice.
Which is nice, yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything else really, because this was a very, very short game. And a very short video for me. And yeah, I mean, that's really it, is that it feels more like a timing puzzle game than anything else in the guise of a platformer, just because of how you traverse the levels, which isn't a bad thing. And I like the movement of the game. Oh, and also it does this weird thing where the geometry of the level, whenever you're attacking something, doesn't matter. In that, if there's a solid wall between you and the enemy and you click on it, you'll still fly towards it and kill it. Which is really disorienting for the first, 5 or 10 levels, because you have that built-in ingrained thing of, okay, I guess I attack that later because, I don't have a physical direct path to it. And it's just that weird thing of, flying through walls and killing things. But if there's a spike or some sort of hazard in between you and the enemy, it will kill you. But also, any enemies between you and the enemy you're attacking are killed in the process.
Yeah, okay, I see some of that watching the trailer for it. That movement traversal does look really satisfying.
Yeah, it is a very satisfying movement. It's just, it's going to be a very, very short game. And I'm expecting probably a $5 game, most likely. I mean, if they have it above $5, this is definitely not recommended.
Yeah.
And they have some really deep bosses in it. I in 45 minutes, I killed 3 of the 6 bosses.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah, but also because of how they have this puzzle element, it's more of figuring out how to defeat them and just attacking them just blindly. And I almost hear Kyle going, "Hey, I know a game like that."
So Shadowbug is $4 on the Play Store, Google Play. So
yeah, that's why I was expecting about the $5 range because of the PC development tax. And this, like I said, this is a mobile game, and it's already out on both Google Play and iTunes.
I bet it's going to be $10 on PC. You watch, it will, because it's almost $5 on mobile.
No, then it's a definite not recommended, unless heavy sale.
It might be like $7.
But it's kind of funny that that they pulled the retweet after they watched this video.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. I'm not being unkind to them. It's just I'm being tough but fair, at least in my eyes.
Yeah. Speaking of devs doing things with tweets, Spin Tires was on sale.
Oh boy!
And I saw the tweet that someone, I don't know, I don't think it was the dev, but somebody posted a tweet. It's in a bundle or something. And I posted the link to my review. I just went ding, and then the link. I got 300 YouTube videos, or 300 views pretty soon after that.
Wow.
It's up to almost 2,000 views. It's my number 1 viewed video. And it's also the number 2 search result if you type in Spin Tires review. So, yay me! I did something good.
Pouring yourself out properly.
I did the thing. Anyways, okay. Well, if that's all you've got to say about it, then I guess I'll move on to talk about I have 2 solo games, but one of them is just like a quick mention about something.
Yeah, particularly since we're going to go in depth next week on it.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that one first. It's just going to take me a minute. Portal 2, obviously, like you just said, it's going to be one of our 2 Game Club games for next week. Our Game Club Saga. I don't know, that feels wrong. Whatever.
Yeah, this wasn't made by Saga.
Anyways, but I just wanted to say, like, I have this kid that I'm working with who he's in a foster home and he's got like some serious attachment issues and stuff, and he really struggles to work with other people, but he loves to play games. So one of the things that we do to help pass the time while we talk is play games. And he finally trusted me enough to show me his whole gaming collection today, instead of just being like, I want to play this game or I want to play that game.
Mm-hmm.
And Portal 2 was in there, and I was like, dude, we should totally play Portal 2. And he's like, oh, that game's dumb. And I was like, no, trust me, if we play it together, it's got 2-player, you'll like it. And so we started playing Portal 2 today, and we got through a couple of the multiplayer levels, like, you know, how we completed the entire like puzzle set, I guess, for
the first one.
And yeah, we did, the first one. And we really enjoyed it, and he worked well together, and by the end of it, he was like, okay, maybe I can work with other people. So, yay, Portal 2.
The Cooperative Testing Initiative. It turns out it works.
Indeed. Also, he thinks that I'm, like, amazing, because he's like, how do you know how to do all this stuff? And I was like, I mean, these are really simple puzzles, and also I had someone show me, so it's not like, I mean, I'm, like, amazing or anything. But he's like, no, you're the coolest. And I was like, yeah. But it's good. This kid's not very good at video games. He's just not. He's pretty bad at every game we've ever played. But especially Portal. Also, I have to say, Portal is terrible with a controller.
Well, yeah, it's a first-person game.
I don't know how we're gonna do some of those later puzzles that require quick reflexes.
Let me guess, he has it on a console?
Yeah, Xbox 360.
Ugh.
But, we'll figure it out. We've got probably...
I mean, I imagine that there's probably some sort of auto lock-on. I mean, there has to be.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, granted, it's been a while since we've done the multiplayer, but I know the single player, unless you're doing some wonky stuff, there's no time that you really have a very quick actions in the single player for Portal 2. Do you think he just needs a mouse and keyboard?
Maybe. That would probably help. He's really bad at all console games that involve, like, quick actions. He's really bad at shooters, first and third person. He's bad at Portal. He's okay at Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, but Dynasty Warriors is, press whatever button to, kill everything on the battlefield, pretty much.
Yeah.
Dynasty Warriors is a power fantasy. And not that it's a bad thing. It's just one of those things that, at least what I played of it, granted, I never really went too in-depth on the Dynasty Warriors series, but it's one of those things that, you play it just to, kick ass to rockin' soundtrack. Right. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Nope. But yeah, he's pretty good at Dynasty Warriors. I was going to say good at, like, Fallout, but it's pretty hard to be bad at those types of RPGs. So.
Oh, it depends if he wants to set the world on fire.
Hey-o. But yeah, I just wanted to say that about Portal. Like, it's helping with therapy. And that's pretty swell.
And then he gets depressed because Gladys is all passive-aggressive.
He doesn't like GLaDOS. No, he doesn't like her. He's like, she's mean. I'm like, she is mean, but I find it funny. Why do you not find it funny? And then we talked about it.
Just wait till he gets a single player. Whew, Gladys is brutal there. Granted, have you gotten to the single player yet?
No, I haven't. I played Portal 1 while I was gone on my trip.
Yeah, which Portal 1, was a couple hours.
Yeah, I think it took me like 3 hours.
Yeah, I'll be going through Portal with the dev commentary on, because this will be my probably 4th or 5th time through the original Portal, and my 3rd or 4th through Portal 2.
Yeah. Anyways, the other game that I played this week was Mass Effect Andromeda. I have some mixed feelings. So I got it for my birthday, or was it Father's Day? I don't know. I got it as a present from my mom because she knows that I love Mass Effect, and I told her that the new one came out, and so she bought it for me. And but Mom just got it for me for Xbox because she knows I have one, and she doesn't, I mean, she plays WoW, but she doesn't know anything technical. Like, I have to fix all of her problems and build everything for her, so...
No, you can pick up the mouse.
So she got me Mass Effect Andromeda for Xbox One. And I just hadn't gotten around to playing it yet, because I didn't want to play it with all of the million problems that people described it as having. So it's had 9 updates in 3 months, I think. So I was like, okay. Well, Katie and I were talking the other night. We were like, we're going to watch TV or a movie or something. And she was like, you know what? We haven't done it in a while. Played a video game, and I drank wine and made fun of you. So we picked Mass Effect, the new one to play. She was like,
you don't have a YouTube channel for her to do that.
She was like, you can pick whatever game you want. I don't care. I was like, well, now would be a good time to play Mass Effect Andromeda. So we sat down and played it on the couch for like 2 or 3 hours, maybe. And then I've played it for several hours after that. And like I said, I have some mixed feelings, and most of that I'm pretty sure comes down to the console. So let's start there. Technically, on the console, it was pretty shitty at first. It was barely able to hold 30 frames a second on like the easy parts of the game, like inside stations or whatever, where there's not a lot going on graphically. When you went down to any planet, it was just a nightmare. Random freezes and hiccups all over the place. Maybe 25 FPS. Yeah. And then combat was just a joke. Just constant freezing.
Do you think this may be part of the problem with the kid?
Maybe. Although Xbox 360 games weren't quite that bad, because they didn't... It was towards the end of that console cycle where they were like, let's make everything fucking shiny and massive.
Yeah, that's something that I've never really understood with the console. It is that they push the graphical quality to the absolute limit of the hardware, to the point that it impacts the gameplay.
Yeah, there were a decent number of 360 titles, actually, that ran at 60 frames a second.
Yeah, I've never understood why they do that. I mean, I could understand locking at 30 to increase the graphical quality. Fine. Don't like it, but fine. All right. But getting it to the point where the game constantly drops way below 30 and has freezes,
yeah,
you consider that acceptable? Fuck
yeah,
you.
It was pretty bad. I mean, the Xbox One, just the standard Xbox One, is the weakest of the whatever this generation of consoles is in that we are. Whatever.
I've lost track of the generations because we have this weird generation upgrade now.
Yeah,
the Xbox One X, One X now or something.
But I mean, it's the weakest console, and that's the one I've got. So that's part of. I mean, that's the biggest problem. It just doesn't have the horsepower to run the game. So that was a disaster, and I was about ready to quit. And then I was like, you know what? There's probably nothing there, but let me just go check the options menu. And sweet baby Jesus, they have some things that you can actually turn off, some post-processing effects that makes the game run better.
Whoa. They have graphical options on a console game?
They do. There's not a ton, but, it's something. You can turn off volumetric God rays. You can turn off what is it called? Granular photography.
So in other words, you become an atheist and you go to digital.
And then you can turn off... What's the other one? I said volumetric God rays.
Yeah.
Granular effect. There was a third one that you could turn off. That was another... Shit.
Change type of AA?
Hang on, I have to look this up.
Okay, we'll just wait here.
Because I didn't actually know what this one was, so I had to look it up to see what it was. Come on, search history. Don't let me down.
I'm starting to search as well. Granted, whenever I go to Mass Effect Andromeda options menu, it gives me a bunch of PC stuff, which is not wrong. Oh, look, more editing.
Chromatic aberration. That's it. Chromatic aberration, which is like a photography effect that mimics certain light conditions to make a photo have more depth of field. And it's like it happens naturally in photographs, but it's a post-processing effect that can be added to supposedly convey a better sense of realism. Not only did turning off all of those effects made the game run better, but it also made it look better.
Yeah,
they were going for this like.
Yeah, I was looking at the examples on Wikipedia because severe purple fringing can be seen at the edges of the horse's forelock, mane, and ear because of this. Why would they want this in the game?
Supposedly they were going for like a gritty realism look, but I like clean sci-fi. And Mass Effect has always been a very clean sci-fi.
You like clean sci-fi, but you like Star Wars.
I do. I mean, I like all kinds of sci-fi, but I don't like my sci-fi that I'm used to it being one way looking another way. Like, Mass Effect has always been like, the future went well. Everything's been hunky-dory, but now these giant monsters are coming to eat us all.
Yeah, except for, Cthulhu coming from space,
Yeah, and this just makes it look like everything is just covered in a layer of grime and shit, and I don't like that. But turning those things off made the game run pretty much stable at 30 FPS. Occasionally there would be some dips in combat, but it never froze or hung up anymore after that. I was amazed. I even posted a tweet about it, that I was really happy that a console game had some graphical options.
Yeah, so, that is rare of itself.
That made me really happy. So, I mean, if you've only got a console to play games on, I'm not sure why you're listening to this podcast, but we welcome you anyways. But, I could recommend Mass Effect Andromeda as a game that actually tries to give gamers some options in terms of how their games look and play. So, that was pretty nice, and that made it run better and made it at least acceptable. I mean, I'm a 60 FPS guy through and through, but if you can give me at least stable 30, and as long as the game's not something that involves really twitchy immediate controls or reactions, which Mass Effect Andromeda is not. I mean, I spent probably 7 of my 10 hours like in the station just talking to people. So, I can.
So in other words, it's a visual novel for you.
I can handle that. So I was very impressed with that. As for the game itself, I mean, if you like Mass Effect, you're gonna like Mass Effect Andromeda. It's basically more of the same. There are some pretty. There was a rather in-depth article about the development of Mass Effect Andromeda and where it went right and where it went wrong. And one of the things that people were talking about how MMO-ish it is. Have you gotten to that? Yeah. So I was gonna say that for anyone who's played Dragon Age Inquisition, this feels very much like they took that system and just said, okay, let's make this sci-fi. Which I loved Dragon Age Inquisition. I like MMOs. I like the grindy, explory, complete all the quests in an entire area. Like, I can dig getting 10 bear asses or 10 sci-fi bear asses. So I really...
10 chrome sci-fi bear asses.
There you go. So, I mean, I dig that about that. And I was about to say, one of the big changes, though, compared to other Mass Effect games is that there's a lot more openness, a lot more exploring. In Mass Effect 1, you could go down and explore planets in the Mako, and there was some of that. They completely took it away in Mass Effect 2 and 3 and made the games much more linear. But now the open worldness is back, and it's bigger than before. And there's a lot more stuff going on planets, because the whole thing of Mass Effect Andromeda, in case you don't know, or listener, you don't know, is that we send out colonists to the Andromeda galaxy so that basically if things go wrong with the Reapers, all of the major races...
Mass Effect 2 and 3, everybody's get the fuck out!
Yeah. So you're colonizing these worlds, and as you go around on the planets and on the stations and complete missions and quests and do different things, you basically increase the viability of colonies on these worlds and the effectiveness of your kind of hub station. It's called the Nexus. And you get you get progress bars to tell you what's going on, but you can also see changes in the world. I didn't do a ton of stuff, but on the planet that I've gotten to, I've got its viability up to like 25%. And so originally there was like nothing there. There was just like sort of the remains of the first colonization attempt. And as the progress meter goes up, like there starts to be more things going on, like people there, and this stuff starts to get to be cleaned up, and buildings are powered on. Supposedly, you can, as you terraform worlds, they change as well. Like this planet's a desert planet, but the mission that I was on was going to see about turning on the atmospheric, whatever they call them, whatever it's called in the game, that basically changes the atmosphere and terraforms the planet. So that's pretty cool. I love that sense of progression, and I really enjoy seeing it happen in real time. Another thing that I really like about Andromeda compared to other Mass Effect games, and I feel like this is becoming a lot more common in RPGs, is that you're no longer locked into a class. Basically, you can level up to infinity, like there's no level cap, and you just basically get more and more and more points that you can dump into everything as you go along. So you're never locked into a class, and you can respec at any time. The sort of in-game gimmick for that is like you have got this AI like directly connected to your brain, and he can rewrite your neural pathways at will. And so you can change all of your skills at any point in time that you want. You can set up different profiles for different skills and get different boosts. Like if you want to be a biotic, which is Mass Effect's version of like magic, you can put a whole bunch of points into that and then set up a profile that boosts that. Or if you want to be a tech guy or a soldier, you can set up profiles for that. I think you can have up to 6 profiles at a time, so you can do a lot of customizing. You can set custom weapons for the profiles too. It's pretty neat. I really like it, and I like that they made it make sense in lore instead of just being like, you can respec whenever, we don't care.
Yeah, there was some one interesting thing I heard about this game, and part of the reason why there's so much MMO content. I'm not sure if you want me to go too much in depth on it, but
no, go ahead. I don't care about any
they were talking about how a lot of the game was going to be procedurally generated.
Interesting.
And that your story missions would all be the same, but then you would have the bare ass missions be different, and you'll have different plants pop up.
There's an interesting
and supposedly that ate up a lot of development time, and part of the reason why the game felt so rushed on release.
I see. There is some interesting ways that it handles progression in the game. So in the other Mass Effect games, when as Shepard, you basically set up who the Shepard was in the first game, and then that followed you through the rest of it. Like you picked like a background and like a, like were you a colonist? Were you a military person? Like whatever. And that was how everyone addressed you throughout the rest of the game. In this, you've got like a developing personality in the ways that you respond and complete quests, like responding, conversation, and complete quests. And you can go check your personality growth at any point in time, and that affects how people respond to you. Like my character has a reputation for being a combination of like analytical and logical, but also like caring and compassionate, which is pretty much me in real life. And so people...
Yeah, but where's the smartass points?
I have some of those occasionally, but a lot fewer than I would have thought. But so people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, hey, nice to see you. How's it going?" But then I've seen people like YouTube videos and stuff where people have just been dicks, and people come, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to talk to you. What do you want with me?" So it's interesting to see how that can develop. I don't know if it like presents any major story differences, but it's nice to feel like the game responds to you as well. I'm trying to think if there's any other major gameplay elements or anything that I can talk about yet. Not for like spoiler reasons, but just because I'm not very far in the game. Like I said, I've only played about 10 hours. And in a game like this, that's like nothing.
Yeah, you're on the first planet, so.
Yeah, I'm on the first planet. I mean, I did the training mission, which is on a planet, or the tutorial mission. And then I got to the space station, or the Nexus, and did a whole bunch of stuff there. And then finally went to my first planet.
Yeah, they regret not playing this on launch so you could see all the derpy faces.
I still get a few derpy faces, but most of them are fixed. The biggest issue that happens is that I guess the two biggest ones is that every once in a while, characters will just randomly squat, but they'll still have their weapons like in the ready position. But as soon as they move, that fixes. And then sometimes when you're in a conversation, someone's eyes will just kind of loll into the back of their head. Like they're having a seizure or something. And then in a minute, it fixes itself and it goes away. But that's only happened, like those two things together have happened maybe 3 times in 10 hours, which, you know, for some people that may be too much, and that's totally understandable. But compared to what it was at the beginning, where everyone was like, haha, check out this dumb shit, it's much, much less than that.
Well, the big one I always saw was the right after I think you get the AI, put into your skull. Yeah, Ryder wakes up and she has it was always the female Ryder that I saw. I'm not sure if it's just an issue with the female Ryder and not the male, or if it's just everyone was playing the female Ryder, but it was the derpiest of derp face. It's like, well, it looks like the AI definitely is the only intelligence there.
Yeah, so that's an interesting point, actually, that I commented on to Katie. So when you start the game, the default character is female Ryder, and you also can go in and customize a few things from the other Mass Effect games, like what does your Mass Effect Milky Way galaxy look like, and the default Shepard is FemShep. And I was like, that's neat. That's pretty cool. It just shows, I think, like how far that we've come and how far these games have come. Like, just, the two main sort of protagonists are just now considered to be canonically female, and I like that. I mean, you could change it if you'd rather it be male, but I did because all of my considered canon games have been male sheps. But I just thought that was nice. Katie was like, "Oh yeah, I guess that is nice," and then she went back to doing whatever it was she was doing.
Drinking wine and making fun of you.
Yeah. I think another really good gameplay feature that I want to point out is multiplayer. So I haven't played the multiplayer, and I have no interest in playing the multiplayer. But
did they force you to play the multiplayer like Mass Effect 3 did?
They do not force you to play the multiplayer. What you can do is that as soon as you get the multiplayer unlocked you could just go straight to multiplayer if you want, but inside the campaign, you can unlock the multiplayer, you can walk up to a computer basically and be like, all right, I want to play a multiplayer mission. But they also give you tactical squads that you can use. So, you walk up to it and it's like, okay, I want these bonuses and the stuff that I can get from the multiplayer mission, but I don't want to play multiplayer. I'll just send one of my TAC teams to complete the mission. And they have a chance they level up and they have a chance to fail it, and you can equip them with better gear and stuff. Or you can choose to lead the mission, and then, you can go in with the TAC team and their AI instead of multiplayer, or you can just go full on multiplayer. So I like that it gives you options. I mean, so far I just send the TAC team in all the time. I haven't found any negative effects. It's just if they fail the mission, it's well, they failed. I guess we'll have to try again. But I like that they still have the multiplayer bonuses and things you can get in there, but they don't force you to play multiplayer to get them. So that's nice. So overall, I've really enjoyed the time that I've had in the game. I'm going to keep playing it, but I bought it for PC because I just couldn't stand 30 frames a second and a controller. Because even if you stream it because you can stream games from your Xbox console to your Windows 10 PC, and even if you do that, you can't use mouse and keyboard. You have to use a controller. So,
or you don't want your Xbox to just burst into flames, do you?
No, and that makes it worse too, because then you have input lag and another granular effect from streaming it. So I bought it on Origin because right now it's 50% off. I think it's 50% off through the end of the week, which means that if you listen to this podcast on the day that it comes out and you want to play Mass Effect Andromeda, you can still buy it for $30 for the standard edition, plus tax. Whatever that is for your local area. For me, it was $3 tax. But yeah, good game. I really like it. I was kind of worried because I heard a lot of mixed reviews about it when it first released, and I'm a huge Mass Effect fan. I mean, I've said many times on this show, Mass Effect is my favorite game series of all time. So I was worried, but the gameplay itself and so far the story itself have been really enjoyable. And I think most of the issues originally were people who either were expecting it to be something completely different than it was, or were miffed about the technical issues, and I
Or
totally
people that
understand
didn't
that
like
one.
how Dragon Age Inquisition went and didn't want to see it in Mass Effect.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Good point.
Because we were talking about that, having the or the Dragon Age Inquisition style of questing, and there was a lot of people that absolutely hated that.
Yeah, I put I think 130 hours into Dragon Age Inquisition, so I like it. I like MMO questing apparently. All right, well that was my other solo game. So what's the last game that we played together?
Funny you mentioned that because it was Don't Starve Together, our streaming game for the week.
Yep.
And this was a little frustrating.
Yes.
I
yes,
think
it
I was the
was.
one that went into it knowing the most, and it was just enough to make me a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, several of us had never played it before, and then you had you played it before, or is it you just knew about it?
I played the single player, not the multiplayer.
Okay.
So some things changed. Like in the single player, you die if you don't have the touchstone or the meat effigy. You're dead. Game over. And the thing is that you have a lot more resing options in the multiplayer just because you have more than one person around.
Right.
But also, it changes a lot on just how much you have to generate food. Because in the single player, you get a farm or 2 farms down, and that's enough to feed you pretty well. Just with random foraging, at least until winter comes. But the thing is that you have, well, in our case, it was 4 mouths to feed?
5 at one point. There
Yeah,
were five
5.
of us playing.
So, that's a lot of food that needs to be generated. And I think I was the only one trapping for quite a while.
Well, yeah. Yeah, you were. I was the only one who was cooking. Like, no one else figured out how to cook except you, I guess.
Yeah, because I knew how.
I was like, guys, you can cook food, and then it gives you more health. Or not more health, more hunger points back.
Yeah. Yeah, matter of fact, one of the big things is instead of eating carrots, unless you absolutely have to, use those as bait for the traps, and you get a bit more nutrition because you get the little rabbit things.
Yeah.
And also, well, we didn't get that far, but you could also get a cooking pot that makes even more nutrition out of the meat and some random ingredients. But yeah, that's the thing, is that Don't Starve Together, well, Don't Starve in general, is either one of the games that you just sit there and you just bang your head against the wall until you figure out things, or you start looking things up. And there's really no place in between those two extremes. And that's its strength, and that's also its greatest weakness.
Yeah. We started a couple of games, because the first game I had put it in the mode.
You put it in pretty much single player ish. Only it has the extra res options, and you immediately died.
I did. I got killed by bees. No, I got killed by a frog. The bees almost killed me.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that combat is one of those things that you absolutely want to avoid for the most part for several days until you get armor, until you get a proper weapon. Because you can attack with tools like the axe, but it's not as good as like attacking with the spear or attacking with some of the weapons, or just getting one of the few ranged weapons, which there are a couple, but not many.
Yeah,
and they usually have some sort of strong downside, like the magic weapons. They'll cost you sanity.
Oh, interesting. That's a good way to use sanity.
Well, they cost you sanity, and they also have limited use. Yeah, something like, I think, 10 to 15 uses. But they're also very powerful, so, they'll kill things and just base things in a couple of shots. The boomerang can kill birds and rabbits, but you only get 10 shots, and you also have to catch the boomerang. So you could hit yourself and do health damage to yourself, and it's kind of tough in the beginning to get those healing cells back to just heal yourself up. And the thing is that, if you die, you lose your maximum health. This is even in the single player. If you have some sort of self-res, you'll have less maximum health. There is a way to recover that, but it's also very tough to do, especially in the beginning where we were.
Yeah. So when we actually got our game going where we were doing better, uh, most people starved repeatedly because we
Yeah.
couldn't get enough food, and the few of us that did have enough food couldn't support the other people too.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, well, I think we may have had too many people, or at least too many people that didn't know what they were doing. And that's not a detriment on the other people that are playing with us. It's just, this is a type of game where you can't really support more than one or two people that aren't actively contributing.
Yeah, at least not at the beginning. I think if we got our farms going, we would have been on okay
Well,
on that
also,
front.
Also, we picked a bad spot to begin with. We had the rabbit field, but that was about it. And yeah, the rabbits are not exactly the greatest source of food.
Yeah, and we foraged out everything immediately around us. And the one time that I went off to gather a bunch of food, I got killed, and then I couldn't find my corpse to get all of my stuff back.
I went south to go exploring, and I got killed because it went nighttime just at the wrong time. So I pull out my lighter. I was playing Wendy, I believe. And she has a little lighter that, hers is essentially a torch. Well, something aggroed me from off my viewing radius from the small radius that the lighter gave me. And I didn't see it coming in it. It just kicked my ass. And
Fun.
but I was able to recover my corpse because I thankfully ran far enough away from it. And also, I did find what I was looking for. I found Muffalo, which was what I was hunting for because I was looking for the fertilizer, the poop.
Yep, their poop.
Because I built 3 farms.
You did build 3 farms, and then those fucking pigs came, or
Hounds.
dogs, whatever they were, pig dogs.
Yeah, that's essentially the first boss. You could kind of treat this as a roguelite because it does have a series of bosses that happen at set intervals. And the hounds are really the first thing that really can screw with you. And I didn't know exactly how to deal with them.
Yeah, I mean, you just had to kill them, but the thing is that we had ran out of food the day before, and almost everyone, if not everyone, died from hunger. So they had low health.
I died due to just random combat, but I had one death as well, which brought my health down. And I didn't have armor, and that's the thing.
Yeah, nobody had armor, I don't think. And only a couple of us had actual weapons. Everyone else just had tools. Fucking dogs. But I mean, now we know that they're there, so we can prepare for them a little bit better next time. And I think now that we've all played it and know at least like the basics, that we could do a lot better.
Yeah, I think
we also,
if we do this again, I think first thing we have to do first day is just to fan out in all directions and figure out, okay, where is a good spot? Because we need a place with a fair amount of foraging possibilities, and either rabbits or Muffalo.
Yeah, those would be the best. You just use them for the poop until you get farms, and then I guess kill them for meat.
Yeah, well, you also have to watch out because mating season for the Muffalo. Whew.
Okay.
Let's just put it this way. They get horny and start fucking. And if you get too close to them, they'll fuck you.
I'm assuming that kills you.
Oh, yeah. But
Nice.
the thing is that also, well, another bonus for the Muffalo is that you're able to shave them.
Ah, you can make clothes.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you shouldn't kill them for meat.
Or you can kill a few of them. And the thing is that if you have a supporting herd, mating season also allows baby Muffalos.
Sweet. Yeah, I really liked it, actually. It feels like it's really deep, well thought out. I don't like the nighttime, like all the monsters in the night trying to kill you, but
Yeah.
I mean that's part of the aesthetic and the gimmick and all that jazz.
Yeah, that's part of the gimmick. And also it's, a third of the day cycle?
Yeah, it's a third or less. It's not very much of the day is actual complete darkness where that you die if you don't have fire.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is that there's a lot of light sources that you could have, and also they have it where things can happen, so you're not just sitting there. And that's the real detriment to a lot of these games that have a day-night cycle built around a survival aspect, is that night is treated as a downtime where you just sit there and craft and do all sorts of other things. And this, you have events that will, screw you up if you aren't active.
Yeah, there's the darkness hands that come to try and steal your fire.
Mm-hmm.
What else can happen at nighttime?
I don't want to spoil that.
Are we gonna try again?
If you want to.
I would love to try again for another stream night.
I do think all of us should read some sort of beginner's tips.
Yeah, that would be nice. Because I don't really know how to handle the very beginning of the game. Like, staying near the portal had the one advantage of we could just respawn and be right there at camp.
Yeah, but the thing is that you don't want to be able to quickly respawn like that because, that meant you died.
Yeah.
The main thing should have been, hunt down a source of food and also a source of sanity. Because how many people are going insane?
I don't think anybody went completely insane, did they?
Yeah, but you start getting nightmare animals attacking you and that sort of thing. The thing is that the first thing I did was, well, you went through a wormhole, and that's a huge hit to sanity.
Yeah, it is. But it was during the daytime, and my sanity recovered by nighttime, so I was fine. Like, my sanity, I had 200 sanity.
See, some of the characters are also more sane than others.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that we had, who was the robot that got killed by the rain?
That was Ghost Shark.
Okay. Because, that's another thing is that all the characters have their own strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And the robot is, if you're caught in the rain, you are screwed. You need a parasol. Or, some sort of hat to keep the rain off of you. And he didn't have that. And he actually started running around, so we couldn't even give him one if we had one.
Yeah. I forget what my character's name was. He was Lord or Baron, whatever, like Wilfred, yeah. And I had 75 health, but 200 sanity.
All the characters start with a W.
Okay. Yeah, I had 75 health, but 200 sanity. So I was really weak in combat, but I could do tons of stuff that would make other people go crazy. Like, I went through a wormhole like twice back to back, and I was just fine.
Well, that's the thing is that, you would be a better explorer, if you could stay out of combat, but...
I won't go looking for honey anymore. That's how I was like, a beehive. Maybe there's, like, honey I can get, and, like, I went to click to interact with it.
Yeah, because,
lots
this is
of
a
bees
game about killing you.
Lots of bees came out. And it was really funny at first to be like, not the bees! But then I was like, all right, seriously, help. I was like, I found Cube, and I was like, Cube, do you have an axe? He was like, yeah, why? And I was like, I'm bringing bees. He helped me kill the bees. But then I got licked by a frog and died.
Yeah, let's see. Well, I could tell you the characters. This is an outdated since Shipwreck, but that's fine because we don't have that DLC. There's Wilson, all-around character with no real disadvantage. Willow is who I was playing. Good for a night with a lighter, but sanity can be a problem, especially with the debuffs. But no fire damage. Wolfgang had higher health and higher hunger totals. Excuse you.
Knocks off my desk.
But he gets weaker or stronger based on his amount of hunger. And sanity can and will be a problem. Wendy has Abigail to back her up, which is just a floating ghost that will attack things. Not as strong as the others, though. And sanity drain isn't as bad for her. WX-78, the robot. He could eat any food. He's upgradable. We never got to that, though. Rain will cause rust and damage. Lightning strikes will cause a system overdrive, which is a good thing. Wicker Bottom knows tier 1 recipes and has magical books. High sanity and balanced by not being able to sleep, though, because that's one thing to recover sanity is you can build a tent and sleep through the night. And stale and spoiled foods are extremely bad for her. Woody has Lucy. It saves times for tree chopping. Basically, unbreakable axe. He has a werewolf form, essentially, that lets you do daunting tasks, but is easy to kill, reverting back to regular. Woody. And let's see, Maxwell, or whatever name he has for on there. Spawns with good starter items. It gets load of passive sanity boost, which is that what you're using. A lowered health, though. Wes, who has volumes to make traps at a lower sanity cost, but terrible stats and increased hunger. Wilfred, who is battle ready with high health and items. Killing gives health and sanity, so someone should definitely use her, but can only use meat or eat meat and has bad hunger and terrible sanity. And Weber has a beard for insulation and silk, can befriend most spiders, good health and hunger, bad sanity, neutral spiders, hostile pigs, and bunnymen. So you can see various bonuses and negatives, huh?
Yeah.
And granted, that's not really going in depth on any of these because you could go really in depth with some of these. Like that. Excuse you. I'll look more editing for you.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's annoying whenever you're trying to sleep in. That's a good engineer. Some of the bad ones. All the way. Granted, I know that would be you if you ever drove a train, but still.
Yep.
I would like to think that you'd at least not do that near a populated area.
Choo choo, motherfuckers. Oh, I would be the worst. Okay, anyways.
Yeah, then you would be driving a train as well.
Yep.
But is there really anything else to say about Don't Starve Together?
I don't think so. Not at this point. I mean, I like it. I want to play it some more and see if we can get farther. And then maybe I'd have more to say about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that you need to read the starter guide. That or just, bang your head against the wall. Which, honestly, I personally don't find that as fun as some people. I mean, this game does have room for you to figure out things, but is very brutal if you do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And that's really the downside of it, is that its brutality is both a plus and minus.
Right. I agree. Okie dokie. I think I need to take a break, go to the bathroom, get some more water. So let's do that before we move on to our first news topic. We are going to talk a bit about the Alex Mauer DMCA saga.
Yeah, this is something I wasn't expecting to talk about because it looked like it was pretty much resolved. 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was pretty much over by the time I left to go on vacation, actually.
Yeah, it's like, there's not a lot to talk about here, mostly. I mean, we could go into things, but, it's over. We could probably skip and, be fine. Yeah, it turns out we were just in the eye of the shitstorm.
Yeah, she's back.
Oh, boy.
I don't even really know where to start, honestly. This is just so...
Well, let's
insane.
start at the very, very beginning with, what is it, Indigo Software? The maker of Star Mazer?
I do not know.
Because that's really what kind of tipped things off. Is she was making the soundtrack to Star Mazer, which I'm trying to find on Steam, but there it is. Star Mazer DSP, which Indigo Softworks. So I was close enough. And Pixel Jam was the developers. And I actually have this in my library. I didn't realize that. Whoops.
There you go.
Yeah, I could probably get sued for DMCA takedowns or something. Just about owning the game at this point. But anyway, she was doing contract work for hire work, all right? And this is the important part. She is a for-hire contractor making the soundtrack. And she had medical issues, which I've never seen disclosed on what it was, and it doesn't really matter all that much unless, she forgot to just take her crazy pills or something. Well, we should probably not call her crazy. How about mentally unwell?
That's fair.
Because, to be perfectly honest, she's acting like no rational person would. And we'll really get into that because... but she was working on these on the soundtrack and had a medical problem and had to leave the team eventually. And the way her contract was set up was that she was paid for work done. And, that was the end of it. Or so you would think. Fast forward, was it about a year? Because Star Mazer's been out for a bit, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, it's in early access. And that's how things work, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, fast forward some time, and she starts issuing copyright takedown notices, DMCA takedown notices, on really just random and smaller YouTubers. Kind of funny how the bigger YouTubers that did stuff on this wasn't touched. Strange, huh?
Extremely.
Well, then she starts attacking, trying to just blackmail and extort money from these people, sending invoices for tens of thousands of dollars to random YouTubers, and saying, "Well, I'll release the DMCA notice if you cover how I'm getting screwed on my contract. Never mind the fact that, about that. It turns out she was the one that broke contract, not them. Do you want to take over here?"
You're doing a good job, buddy.
Because, it starts to get really, really murky at this point, because she goes absolutely batshit and starts threatening people. She goes after her own lawyer at this point and actually doxes him.
Yeah, she doxed several people, if I remember correctly.
Well, the fact that she's doxing her own defensive lawyer, which, whoever would defend her is just absolutely crazy, right?
Yeah.
But, she doxed her own lawyer. She started doxing people. She started getting rather belligerent with pretty much anyone that would contact her, saying that this isn't right. You don't own the copyright to this. Or I have written permission from the developers who own the copyright. And eventually, I believe the term was taken into custody. I believe it was Total Biscuit that tweeted that out.
Yeah, she was taken into custody.
And was given a restraining order from not doing any more DMCA takedowns. And that was a couple of weeks ago. And we thought, it's past. She's obviously having issues. There's nothing else going on here. And then the last couple of days.
Yeah, I was not aware of this until this afternoon, or this evening, whenever we were getting ready for the show, and you were like, so, this is still going on.
Yeah, really. Yeah, she went after Leonard French, I believe it is, the copyright attorney on YouTube.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Who actually is the defensive the defense lawyer for Integro Softworks. He took up the case.
Yeah.
And was actually sending him death threats. Because sending a lawyer death threats is really going to work out for your case.
Yeah, that's just a great idea. Just send people death threats. You'll get what you want. I promise. Don't actually do that. That's not real advice. Don't do that. Be nice to people. What? Who is that? Where?
Well, obviously it wasn't me.
So, sorry.
Yeah, and she went after another game, which I'm gonna have to bring up the title here.
Star Mazer?
No. River City Ransom Underground. I knew it was River City Ransom. I couldn't remember the subtitle for it, because this is essentially I believe this is a sequel or a reimagining of the NES classic River City Ransom, which I actually played back in the day. It was actually a really fun beat 'em up. She went after them and is forcing them to change their soundtrack just to get rid of her tracks, because she did soundtrack work there as well. Yeah. And it's just ridiculous. But this also shows a huge weakness of the DMCA system, because it presumes that, one, people won't abuse it, which whoever thought that wouldn't happen is fucking delusional. All right, U.S. law.
Yeah, whoever think that people won't find a way to abuse anything is just delusional.
But also the fact that it relies on the copyright holders, which I realize she's not the copyright holder, to actually be sane. Oh, and also at one point, I forgot about this. She put up the entire soundtrack for Starmazer on Bandcamp for, I think it was $1,000.
Okay.
Saying, if you buy it here, you'll get the rights to it. I mean, just... what the hell?
So, as a mental health professional, I feel like it's
let's get your professional.
It's my duty to weigh in, and I could joke, and I've made jokes about it before, but I genuinely think that there's something wrong with this woman.
Or the fact that she took a medical leave before all this happened about a year ago.
I could probably diagnose her pretty effectively with like 3 or 4 different disorders right now. Most likely she's had something, because I mean, up until this point, like we hadn't heard anything about her. I mean, it's possible that she's just
I shouldn't say she was fairly well respected and had quite a few soundtracks in movies and games. Starmazer and River City Ransom are probably the more well known, which makes me a little leery about playing any of the other ones now.
Yeah. Excuse me. I could diagnose her with 3 or 4 different things, I think, but most likely she probably had something really bad happen in her life that nobody knows about. I don't know, maybe like a really bad relationship, maybe, someone abused her, either like sexually or physically assaulted her, or maybe she had a bad relationship with someone in her family that passed, and now that's like weighing really heavily on her. Because for people to make changes like this, normally 1 or 2 things has to occur. There's either some sort of brain damage. It's possible she was in like a car accident or something, damaged her brain, changed her personality, or you have a tragic event that you just don't respond to well at all, and for lack of a better term, go off the deep end. One of those 2 things probably happened.
Well, she also obviously had a severe lifestyle change very recently, just due to her going from male to female, trans. Well, I'm not saying that's the cause of this, but it's also a big lifestyle change and could be possible. Something happened there.
It could be. Statistically, there is a decent chunk of people who undergo...
and I'm not trying to be transphobic on that either. I mean, I didn't even know until fairly deep into the shitstorm that...
I didn't know at all.
That she was trans, and the first time I heard it was her squawking about someone being transphobic by calling her a crazy bitch.
Well, I mean, she is acting like a crazy bitch, I have to say. I didn't know she was trans until you just said it right then. I mean, there has been some studies, and there's some evidence that doing that, the hormones that they put you on, can really mess you up. And if she did not go through the proper channels to get her transition, she might have missed some of the critical steps that they go through to do like psychological evaluation and physical evaluation and things like that. So there could have been an issue actually with her transition. When did she...
I don't know exactly. I just know that it did happen.
And then also statistically, it's something like 40-something% of people who undergo a sex change regret it and then delve into usually depression, sometimes some other psychotic symptoms, because that's not actually their problem. They have other problems in their life and they just think that that's going to fix it. But that's a whole nother thing. And I mean, everybody who knows me knows that I am all for people doing whatever they want to do with their bodies as long as it doesn't hurt other people. But that has been pretty heavily studied at this point. So we do know that there is instances of that happening. So, I mean, it probably is just a combination. Maybe something happened to her during her transitionary period. Maybe she regrets becoming a female, or maybe, who knows. But a lot of these things are probably weighing on her, and she just has sort of has snapped. Either she's had a massive personality change or has had a psychotic break. She could be suffering from drug-induced, maybe she's mismedicated, some sort of hormones or something.
There's just so many things here that could be triggers for it.
Yeah, I mean, I would need to do like a full-blown psychological evaluation, but my 2 best guesses are some sort of life change that's got her suffering from either PTSD or major
which
depression.
Trans could be, that, right?
Yeah, it could be.
And the
Could
fact
be.
that I've obviously been hanging out with you enough to realize this.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could be those things. Regardless, she definitely needs some psychiatric help. And then beyond that, just see what's going on. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of these activities are pretty close to criminal. If not,
well, considering the DMCA takedown notices are perjury on every single count, and she has racked up over 90 of them.
Wow, that's a lot. I knew it was a bunch. I didn't realize it was that many.
And that was just, well, one of the, on the show notes, there's going to be at least 3 videos linked. 2 of them are the copyright attorney just talking about, well, pretty much the latest stuff going on in the case, him getting death threats from her, and just a little bit more in depth on some of the more recent stuff, particularly where she's wrong about the contract. But then there's another link that is probably about a 20-minute general overview from someone that had one of their videos taken down on a copyright strike, and you could hear the underlining seething anger, which you really can't blame him at all.
Yeah.
Because a copyright strike on YouTube is a really big thing. I mean, it's 3 strikes, you're gone. I mean, that's a... Yeah. If you're spent years and years on YouTube, someone getting a hair up their ass. Can you imagine a Let's Player that had 3 episodes of this on their channel? That's 3 strikes right there. You are fucking gone. And that shows a severe weakness of the DMCA.
Yeah.
And the fact is, here's the thing. I'm going to actually stick up on YouTube on this, is that they have no choice in the matter because of the safe harbor clause. They have to respond immediately and assume anyone that gets a DMCA strike on them is guilty as sin. And I think this shows that the DMCA needs to be taken a severe look at and changed.
Yeah.
I'm not one to say that, it should be completely abolished. There should be no copyright things whatsoever, because that is just complete craziness, particularly with some of the things we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, that's craziness more towards the other direction. That's more anarchy.
Yeah. But the same thing, having someone be instantly assumed guilty because of some, what's the proper term here? Oh yeah, nut job. Because of some nut job on the internet becoming irate because she thinks she was wronged on her contract when she obviously wasn't, if anyone bothered to actually sit down and read the contract, which I've seen the text of the contract. It's pretty explicit on who owns the fucking copyright. And little spoiler, it's not her.
Yeah. I could diagnose her with histrionic disorder.
You're just sitting there thinking of all the Steam cards.
I mean, really, that's if histrionic disorder is basically diagnosing a woman with a mental condition and for being a woman. That's a real thing that exists in our modern DSM. It's basically a period. Like, do you have your period? Yes, well, you're diagnosable with histrionic disorder. I mean, technically, since she's transitioned... I don't know. Do you transition women?
I was about to ask that.
Periods?
I was honestly about to ask that.
I don't know.
I was going to be...
They don't have a uterus.
Well, I wasn't going to ask about the period. I was going to ask, can they be considered for that disease or mental problem? Because they're still genetically male, even though they have all the hormones.
Yeah, no, you can still... I mean, you can actually diagnose a man with histrionic disorder. You can meet enough of the criteria without actually having a period to be diagnosable with histrionic disorder. But you can pretty much diagnose any woman with histrionic disorder because she has a period and that she has a problem with her uterus.
Or she's more mature. Not old, mature. Right?
Yeah.
That's how it works?
Yes, absolutely.
And?
Let's see. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. No, you can't... if you have been a male transition to a female because you don't have a uterus and they don't like give you one, they just give you a vagina, you can't have a period. I was pretty sure that was correct, but then I was like, maybe just the way it's you not.
Said it. And now I'm having a Monty Python moment where you got to keep it in a box.
No, I was like, they definitely don't. But then I was like, do they? I mean, medical science has come a long way. But no, they don't.
We've got this has gotten way, way off track.
Welcome to the educational portion of the podcast. This sex ed portion of the podcast, I guess.
Yes, we've learned an important lesson here. Male to female transitions, you're not issued a uterus.
Nope. I feel really stupid now, but it was like I just had a pause. Like,
my big thing was just where the line is, not. But the fact that that's the definition.
Yep.
Well, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Or not, depending on your state.
I should just totally one day like go get the DSM out and like go through and read you. There's some crazy shit in there that's holdovers from the days when.
Isn't that the entire point of it?
Haha, touche. There's some very old and backward stuff that's still in the modern DSM. So, yeah. It's gotten a lot better, but there's still some pretty bad stuff in there. At least we don't say that being gay is a mental health disorder anymore.
Why shouldn't they be happy?
A lot of conservatives like to think that way, but it's not in the manual anymore. You can be gay, and that's okay.
And now I'm slipping into Avenue Q.
So now we've offended most of our audience in some way. Somehow we've just managed to offend them all right there. Men, women, trans people, gay people, straight people.
Now we're just going to drop some about 30 seconds of static in here.
Yeah, and a lot of swear words. Oh, all right. Let's move it on to our next topic.
I do think that we seriously need to look at the DMCA at some point.
Oh, I agree. I think the DMCA. I mean, we've talked about it before, though. Like,
we're both content creators, so we do have a horse in this race.
We do.
Thankfully, even though I own Star Mazer, a review copy of it, I'm pretty sure I didn't buy this. But that's is it a bad thing that I look up the game on Steam? Oh, I own this.
Happens to me sometimes too. Probably you more often though.
Yeah, I'll go on Reddit and see someone talk about how awesome this game is, and it's like, yeah, that game does sound awesome. Here, look, it's also on sale and pretty cheap. I'll at least take. Oh shit, I own this.
Nice.
But then again, I get review codes that are just weird. Like, today, literally just before the podcast started, I got review code for Simple Planes. No idea why.
Nice.
I signed up for it when it was originally releasing on Steam, and some developers will go back and do just a blanket allow on the codes once a certain amount of time passes. So I'll get a game that's like 2 or 3 years old. It's like, why am I free game? What the hell?
Right. All right. Well, let's move it on to our next topic, which is RuneScape Mobile. So RuneScape, the game you know and love from 2001, is coming to mobile devices, phones and tablets. Supposedly in 2018, the site says you can sign up for a beta, and I guess
remember RuneScape?
Yeah, and it's not like a mobile version of the game. It's not
Well, technically it is,
well,
as in a mobile version of the game, not mobile version.
Yeah, that's what I meant. And we were having a pretty slow week in the news, and we saw this, and we were like, well, we'll put this in there. I played RuneScape when I was in high school, so like 10 years ago, give or take. So that's my only touch point with RuneScape.
Yeah, I remember when they talked about RuneScape on the screensavers back when Tech TV was still a thing.
Good old Tech TV.
Yeah, then they were bought out by G4 and became shit. And then went to Esquire and became even more shit, also known as the Cops Network. But I do think RuneScape is a strangely appropriate choice to go to mobile, and something that I'm surprised that hasn't gone to mobile yet. I don't know why I assumed that there was a mobile version of RuneScape or a RuneScape-like game out there, because RuneScape is grindy as hell, and what's most mobile games?
Grindy as hell.
I mean, it's like the mobile game. It was the mobile game before mobile phones were able to play games or play, anything beyond like Snake. And
yeah.
That's the thing, is that I think this is probably a really good fit, assuming that they treat it right. And that's the thing, is Jiraxis has this thing where unless you're a paying customer, as in, signed up to their subscription service, you are often just left down in the cold. I wonder what the last update to their free version of RuneScape was, because I'll tell you one thing. When I stopped playing, the free version of the split from paid to free version was like 2 or 3 years old at that point. And there hadn't been a single update to it.
Yeah. This kind of makes me... Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm trying to find free updates. Well, here's RuneScape updates. And it doesn't really list what version they're for, but most of the time it's to the paid client. I mean, you were talking before we started recording just how much of it is behind the paid wall, as in there's a literal fence splitting the continent.
Yeah, there's you get maybe 15% of the game's content if you play for free. I'm just kind of averaging everything together because, some you get a little more, some you get a little less, but in all, you only get about 15% of the whole game if you just play for free.
Yeah, honestly, the free version is more of a demo these days, which is not a bad thing, but RuneScape is a weird game to still be paying for, because there's a lot of stuff that is essentially free to play games that are pretty much RuneScape these days. Granted, it doesn't have the brand recognition. That's the real thing about RuneScape, is that people have that nostalgia for RuneScape.
Yeah. Part of me is tempted to try it, just try it again, since it's been so long. It'd probably be like playing a brand new game. But the other part of me doesn't want to, because of something we talked about that I'm not going to talk about just yet. We'll save that maybe for a week or two from now.
Oh my.
When we talk about it, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, whenever we decide on that, we can talk about it. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I might play it on my phone, but at the same time I'm going, why would I play that on my phone? I mean, I agree with you. I think it's probably a pretty good fit based on what I remember of RuneScape. And as long as they do it well, I don't see why it wouldn't work. I mean, that's the thing. If you do anything well, or if you do something well, no matter what it is, it'll probably be fine. But, I'm like, why would I play that on my phone? I have so many other games that I could play on my phone that fit the phone playtime better. Why would I sit down for hours and play this on my phone?
Well,
when I can actually
that's
put it on
the
my
thing,
computer?
is I don't think this is meant to be something that you play for hours. I think this is going to be, your pop in and do some mining, or pop in and do some fishing, pop in and do some just general collecting, because we're talking about how this isn't a separate version. This is the actual client on mobile, so that should be a shared world and a shared account.
Yeah,
and that's where I think is the strength of this, is that this isn't for new players. This is for old players, or ones that want to come back and be able to, sit for 10 minutes and, just get that mining whack-a-mole back in. Assuming that mining still works like that. Because I know at least when I played, it eventually, if you went to a populated area, it was very much just whack-a-mole, oh, look, that one has something in it. Quickly, get to it before everyone else does.
Yeah. That sounds nice. I used to do that in WoW. Go around and hit all of the spots. Like I had all the respawn timers for the ores and everything down. Like I had them written down and stuff. It's like, okay, this one's popped up here. Now I can run over this place and mine this, and then go over here, and that timer should be up.
Yeah, when I was doing my crafting in WoW, I actually had an add-on that, or a mod or whatever, that would take a look at my map and see, okay, you have nodes for this area, and you want to have the most efficient flight path. This was back when flying was more important, because that's one thing that's really turned me off from just wanting to go back to WoW. Is it seems like every expansion now, they always lock away flying for at least a major patch or two now. Yeah. And honestly, a lot of my stable is just random flying mounts. I mean, granted, I had the motorcycle, and the motorcycle's rather badass, especially, just this giant blue shaman on this mechanical beast. But, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it, in EverQuest, a mount was also mechanized. I wonder if that's a thing for me. I had a robo-boar, and no, I'm not joking.
Nice.
And I'll wait while you go search for what that looked like. But I had an add-on that allowed me to just have my flight path to, hit all the ore spots. And if I wanted a particular ore, I'd be able to see, okay, this map has, let's say 30 or 40 nodes for it that I know of. And I'll be able to fly in this pattern and be able to cover them all in this amount of time. And knowing the respawn time of those, I should be able to cover the ores as they respawn. Granted, I wasn't a druid, so I didn't have the cheaty, I don't have to leave flight form. You're searching Roboboar, aren't you?
No.
Oh, I'm disappointed.
I'm acquiring a game from Jim.
Oh my.
He's sending me a VR game to try. Probably talk about that next week as long as I have enough time to play it. Yeah, I mean, I remember so little about my time playing RuneScape.
Well, for me, RuneScape was more of a grind fest, and once that really wore off for me, didn't really play it anymore. And that's the thing. Well, to give you an idea of the time frame, I played before the first person hit level 99, and I believe it was smithing. And there was this big thing that, this one person hit 99 smithing.
Sweet.
And granted, level 99 did absolutely jack shit, at least back then. I'm not sure if it does anything now. But it was, I want to say several million experience from 98 to 99. And this person had just a team of miners supplying, the character was female, but supplying her with ore to be able to fund this.
Sounds fancy. I wish I had a team of miners supplying me with ore.
Don't lie, you would want to be on the team.
Both would be good. I could do both.
Yeah, but we know you prefer to get down and dirty.
Wink. You know it. Alright, I'm ready to move on to the next topic, if you are.
I think so. And this is something we probably should have mentioned a while ago, is that Evolve, that's the land software, by the way, rose from the ashes.
Indeed. So, a few weeks ago, it hasn't been too long ago.
I would say about a month now.
Yeah.
Because remember, the Franken episode also took some time.
Right.
We had the trifecta, sorta, with No Man's Sky, Evolve, and... Oh, shoot, I'm blanking on our other whipping boy.
Battleborn?
Battleborn, yeah. Yeah, that's how important Battleborn is. We're forgetting a whipping boy now.
But anyways, yeah, I mean, they were having to close up shop. Their investors had pulled out, and they'd lost some business deal or something. But apparently someone swooped in and is supporting them and going to be making some changes to it. They still have all of the login data, and I mean, they said they didn't lose anything. So I suppose you can just re-download the client and log back in and start using it again. which is good because I really like Evolve. I mean, I've used a few of those LAN or a couple of those LAN simulators or emulators, whatever, before, but Evolve was my favorite just because it was super user friendly.
Yeah, the other big one was Hamachi, and you had to join a virtual LAN, and it was always a little cumbersome. And then they really focused on the business aspect instead of the gaming aspect. And in order to get above a certain amount of clients on a single LAN, it was a ridiculous licensing fee, which for businesses I understand, but for gamers, it just makes no sense.
Yeah.
But this is more of just an update that we should have covered ages ago. I mean, this was put out June 26th, so that gives you an idea of how old this is.
Yeah.
Well, we could have had it probably on the last episode before the Franken episode. So yeah, we right at a month now. And not a lot to talk about here. It's just just an update. Hey, Evolve is back.
Indeed.
So that's a thing.
Yes, it is. So we also had a couple of bits of itch.io news.
Yeah, this is the flip side of the copyright stuff. Oh. And, one half is copyright friendly, copyright law friendly, in that Double Fine is putting their stuff on itch.io. I'm not sure if it's on yet. I haven't actually gone to check. And then you have the flip side of this. And this is something that makes me a little nervous about Steam Direct overall, which we'll get to in a little bit. Is that itch.io, their big thing is pretty much instantaneous storefronts. And allowing small devs to put up their small games and get money for it. Get cash, acquire currency, get females.
Right.
Well, the thing is that there's no real checks. And you can see where this is going. People were downloading torrents of games and putting it on itch.io. There's confirmed cases of RimWorld. There's confirmed cases of Stardew Valley going up. And the thing is that because itch.io is, at least in theory, a legitimate storefront. I had to think of a word there. These sites that just scrape different storefronts for deals would see, RimWorld is $5 here or $10 on itch.io, and compare it to the base price of Steam and see, that's that's a good chunk of discount. We'll put out the email to everyone that has RimWorld on their watch list. And you can see where the scam comes in, don't you?
Indeed. People were getting pirated copies of the games and uploading them to itch.io and then just selling them that way.
Yeah, and getting the money for it. And here's the thing, is that they don't even try to cover their tracks to say, this is totally legitimate, because there's screenshots of the files where there's still the link to the torrent sites. And the thing is that also, at least for RimWorld, if you're launching it outside of Steam, it errors out if you have the Steam version. I mean, granted, it's just you don't have the Steam API running. And, it's something that you can totally click past, and that's what I actually do for my RimWorld series. But I do own RimWorld legitimately as well. Is that you could just click past it, and, it still runs fine. It's an error out. And I assume that the version from RimWorld's main site doesn't have that, but then you don't get all the sweet buds from the Steam workshop. But this is really the flip side of the copyright issue that we were talking about with Alex Murr, where if you get rid of the DMCA, it just becomes a wild west where it doesn't encourage anyone really to put out their own work, because it's just going to get stolen and re-uploaded somewhere else at a discount. And the fact that itch.io has no checks on this is just crazy. I'm shocked that it hasn't become a bigger issue, but maybe it's just because itch.io is a smaller site.
Yeah. Double Fine stuff is on itch.io, by the way. I looked it up. It all looks like it's the same price as it is on other storefronts like Steam. So
Well, the flip side of it is that I believe it has to be copyright free, or not copyright free, but DRM free.
That's nice.
Because itch.io doesn't have a client, at least yet. So they're not like Desura, or at least what Desura was. I heard rumors that Desura was coming back, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. That's another big indie storefront, or at least it was.
Yeah, didn't they go bankrupt?
Yeah, twice.
Yeah. Oh, twice. Oh, good for them. Once wasn't enough, I see.
But
So
the big thing for itch.io is that it's DRM free, but on the flip side of that, well, that in the instant uploads, but yeah, it's coming to bite them as they're getting bigger. And they're obviously getting bigger. They could attract Double Fine.
yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that they do nowhere near the numbers of any of the other big sites, but I mean, they're doing something. There's a lot of little games on here. I see a lot of these little games pop up on people's YouTube channels as well. Like, there's a few big YouTubers like Jim Sterling. He's got a series called Itch.io Tasty, where that he will just like pick a random word and type it in and see what there is, and then play those games.
Yeah, and itch.io is one of those sites that it definitely has some very interesting titles, but the thing is that it's very tough to find some good things. And itch.io isn't limited to just games. It also has a lot of gaming assets, which can really muddle things up as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad site. It's just they're having issues that they really should have foreseen. I mean, it's kind of crazy that they didn't foresee, instant storefronts of anyone being an issue.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't had more people like trolling them, like putting up, I don't know, porn or
like
else.
what Steam Greenlight had for a long time.
Yeah, like racist, bigoted, hateful things.
I just had a thought. I have a bad thought, and I'm going to share this. How long do you think it'll be until we have the first fidget spinner game that's all swastikas?
It probably exists now.
Of course. I mean, crappy little indie games are almost Rule 34, where if you could think of it, it exists.
Yeah, it probably exists on like Newgrounds or something like that. Does Newgrounds still exist? They do, right?
I assume so. I think it would be pretty big news if it didn't.
You know, this is one of the biggest meandering episodes we've had in a while. Yes, Newgrounds does exist. It looks like the front page is all porn stuff, pretty much, though.
Wait, that's a bad thing?
No, just the front page is all porn stuff.
Oh dear God. I'm going through itch.io. I was joking about the fidget spinner games, and I'm on my press account. And well, that all tells you the quality of itch.io is that they give me a press account.
I want one. I should ask for one.
But on the front page of my press account, that has the newest games. I see at least 2 fidget spinner games. And oh dear, I need to link you this. This may have to go in the show notes. Just look how badly drawn this is. There's not even a game screenshot.
That's the worst. Okay, enjoyable. This is terrible.
I almost want to download this.
You should, since you can get it for free. Report back on it next week. Fidget Adventure.
Oh, this is definitely not a copyright issue. PewDiePie Fidget Spinner 3D.
Nice.
I'm sorry, but Fidget Spinner to me is, just like hello fellow kids at this point. Right?
Indeed. I'm still looking at all of the weird porn pictures on the front page of Newgrounds. I mean, like, this is just like a doll face that looks like it's covered in cum. Like, what is this? Okay, I have to click on it. What is this?
Well, I have a feeling that well, this is getting completely off topic, but, what the hell at this point, right?
Oh, this is weird.
Oh, that's something coming from you.
What is... It's like weird... What? This is not at all what I thought it was.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
Yes?
But I think flash sites really need to go pretty much purely mobile these days, or I should say, flash games, because is there really a reason to play a flash game these days if it's not something that is like on Steam that's bigger than your typical early 2000s flash game?
I don't think so.
I mean, pretty much all of those have gone to mobile anyway.
It's Sailor Moon as a man with a bait. What? All right, I'm just gonna close that. I just have to close that, and we need to get back to
that's
podcasting.
A big nope. You know it's bad whenever it freaks you out.
I'm not freaked out, but I just need to leave. Otherwise, I'm going to spend the next 2 hours there, and we need to get the show done because I have to get up early in the morning. Stupid.
Yeah, that's your excuse.
Work. Stupid. Anyways, all right. Our next topic is a more general topic. We wanted to talk about Steam Direct now that it's been live for a little bit.
Yeah, I believe we're still in the first week, or we're past the first week of Steam Direct, and I have to say, I pretty much noticed immediately after the Steam sale that the general quality of things have taken a severe nosedive.
Yeah. Do we know if this is part of the dump of Greenlight games, or is that over now?
I believe if you click on something, it should say approved by Greenlight, because they did just pretty much a blanket approval. Which, that ought to tell you just how Greenlight worked, huh? Where they did a blanket approval at the end.
Yeah. So, we've got games like Loading Screen Simulator. No, I'm not kidding. Loading Screen Simulator. Jim Sterling did a great comedy video about this, where he spends like the first 5 minutes of the video really going off on this type of shit, and then it like does these interesting little fade in and fade outs where he's talking about weird things like you come in out of context. I thought it was pretty good, but also just it's like a clicker game where the loading bar very slowly goes up over time, and I don't know if it ever fills up. Their thing is like, well, it's free to play, so that can't be so bad, right?
There you go.
What is this? Ninja Gainic?
Tell me exactly what this is.
Well, I mean, this is Fruit Ninja.
Yeah.
But with paintballs instead of fruit.
Yep.
And you're...
Yeah, and some sort of face in the background that I can't quite make out.
Hang on. I accidentally yanked my headset cord out. Get back in there. There we go.
Oh my.
All is well. All is well.
And there's some sort of face in the background that I don't recognize offhand. But yeah, I mean, Fruit Ninja for $1.59.
Fruit Ninja's not that expensive anyways, though.
Yeah. Hang on, can I filter out the DLC? I should be able to. Because, yeah, you have things like Rocksmith 2014 for some reason, just dumping a bunch of DLC on here. Let's see.
What was that other one we found? The fidget spinner one?
There's like 2 or 3 coming up.
Fidget spinner simulator.
And it's one of those things that, yes, at least I rail on fidget spinners a lot because it's so much of just a cash in, really. And just one of those that, oh, look, it has a fidget spinner and nothing else.
Yeah, fidget spinner simulator is bad. The music's bad, the animation's bad.
Okay.
Everything about this game is bad.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through, just looking at some of these, and yes, there are good games out here coming up, and there's games that may be taking advantage of Steam Direct that wouldn't otherwise be able to make it. But it's just getting so pushed aside by fidget spinner simulator. Hang on, what's another one? Well, here's random RPG Maker game, which who knows if that would have made it otherwise.
Star Trek Timelines. That's a shitty mobile game. about Star Trek.
Yeah, but that's not using advantage of Steam Direct. I imagine that would have gotten on anyway.
Probably, but I'm just going through the new releases, and it's like, there it is. House Party.
I actually have a review copy of that.
I want to play House Party because it's one of those games that looks like it's so bad it's good.
I got a review copy of that, and I decided, I want to play something that actually has a chance to be decent. But the most damning thing coming up is more not the release, but the upcoming. Have you looked at the upcoming releases?
I haven't. Let's go look at that.
Just click on the upcoming tab and mouse over some of these. Like Marble Masters The Pit. And do not judge me for having review copies of some of these, please.
Marble Masters The Pit. That looks terrible. Knock the marbles into the pit. The Fall, Part 2, Unbound. Is that actually supposed to be a good game?
I have no idea.
Space Battle Humanity. Is this... This looks like a Facebook style game.
And I think this is where we're really going to go, is that it's going to rely so much now on Steam systems to be able to find good games. But even though we are going through discovery queues like crazy, I mean, we do at least one a week now, there's only so much that you could go through. And we're looking at just tons and tons of games that are coming out on a, week daily basis, because pretty much you don't see any releases during the day, or during the weekend, I should say. But, here's Jared's Game of the Year. I tweeted out this one the other day. There you go. Enjoy.
Shark Dating Simulator XL. Oh, with shark boobies. I'm in. Look at those shark boobies. Yeah, I'm all
Assuming
in.
that it's not censored. But yeah, this is... I wish that there was some way to filter this a lot better. And maybe that's... maybe this is what Steam needs to focus on is, okay, open the floodgates and let the ship, just sink. But at the same time, how are people supposed to even hope to keep up with this outside of just keeping a constant vigil on the front page? Because I'm sure that there's just really good games that are just going to get overlooked because, they just don't get their time on the front page anymore. It used to be before Steam Directed, even before Steam Greenlight, the first major boost on game sales was being on the Steam front page as a new release. And now they've had it where even newly released games don't even get on the front page. Well, for one, you have to scroll pretty far down. And the main thing is new and trending, which filters out a lot of the new releases, maybe for a good thing. Because if you saw Fidget Spinner Life, you'll just turn off Steam, right?
I just go somewhere else. I bought Mass Effect Andromeda from Origin, so I guess I'll just go over there and do just that.
And to be fair, the new and trending outside of Loading Screen Simulator, which, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Are all at least decent looking games.
I think Loading Screen Simulator is supposed to be satire, but they did it wrong. I think.
Also, it's the Devolver Digital Conference.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
Maybe we're being unfair on Steam Direct. I don't know.
I don't think so.
The more I'm talking about this, the more I'm... I think it really comes down to just... we don't have the tools.
Yeah.
They desperately need to go in and make it... Well, for one, I ranted about this last week, the Steam tags. Because the Steam tags are just stupid. Like, let's just pick one. Actually, this... I was expecting a lot of troll tags on this, but there's only simulation on this for a hand simulator.
Yeah, hand simulator...
to be fair, I think you no, you can't add tags if you didn't buy the game. Yeah, I'm just going through. I know the CS:GO sticker pack had pretty much every tag imaginable on it for a long time. And maybe that's part of the problem, is that there's no real punishment on just being a dumbass.
Yeah.
Do you think if you constantly mislabel something, you should have your tagging privileges, if not removed, at least stunted, so your vote for a tag doesn't have as much weight?
I think so. I think that would be a good thing. That would hopefully encourage people to take it a little bit more seriously.
And maybe I'm just relying too much on the Steam tags in general. But it's the same basic idea that we have limited tools, and seeing people just dick around with them is a bit frustrating, particularly whenever I know that there's games just getting bypassed because there's like, I want to say 20 different RPG makers on the upcoming game list. RPG Maker games. And that's probably being conservative.
Yeah.
Are you looking at the upcoming game list? Or have you?
Yeah, I have. I've been scrolling through it. Some of these... Actually, I feel like a lot of these look like real games. As opposed to these quick slapdash, whatever you want to call them. Cynical money grabs.
It's that some of these, you mouse over and you get one screenshot. Unless you just sit there and let it load. But it's one of those things that the first screenshot may actually be worthwhile. But, let's pick one. Did you ever see Wrestling Revolution 3D?
No.
Oh, boy. This is the part of the podcast where we just start picking on random games. Also known as Discovery Queue. Not quite, but tell me what decade this game is from. Actually, I have no idea when this was originally released, if this is a new game or a re-release of an old one.
It looks like it belongs in the N64, PS1 era, maybe very, very early PS2.
PS2 if they had no idea how to do texture work.
Yeah.
And obviously, I wonder what characters these are supposed to be. And also the menu work. Oh, dear God. I mean, this is obviously not that good.
No. No, it's not.
And the police are coming for it. If you could hear that in the background.
Yep. Bad boys, what you gonna do?
Arrest you for copyright.
For poor singing. Forget the copyright. They're just like, this dude fucking sucks. Let's get him out of here.
No, that's just where they beat you half to death. Just shut up. Shut up. They're crying the entire time.
It hurts my ears. They bleed.
But do you think Steam Direct, after the initial glut, will level off?
I hope so. I mean, I'm willing to give it a chance. I mean, you know me. I'll give anything a chance, but I think that we'll get this huge...
Try anything once.
I think we'll get this huge out-the-gate wall like we've gotten, and maybe a little bit longer. I think it will taper off. You've got a whole bunch of people that I think that are going, okay, if I'm going to do this, I need to do it before Steam cracks down and does some stuff. So I'm going to get my millions now. And they rush out with whatever it is they're doing. The cynical part of me says that. And then, in time, we'll see those developers go somewhere else. And we'll see better developers come in who actually care. And we'll see the amount of games released level off. And we'll see the quality go up and then level off.
Well, there is the cash-in portion where you have to pay, what was it, 100?
Yeah, it's 100.
It was the same as Greenlight.
Yeah, but it's 100 per game, I think, as opposed to just $100 to put.
Wasn't it that for Greenlight as well, per listing?
Maybe.
I could be wrong about that.
I thought you just had to pay $100, and then you could put any games you wanted up, or you put up a certain number of games for your $100. I think with Steam Direct, it's every game is $100.
Yeah, but if you get it past 1,000, you get that back, if I recall correctly. So that's where I think is going to be the big thing, is that if they could get it where okay, people are going to realize that, okay, it's actually going to cost me money to put out my jokey RPG Maker game because I'm not going to be able to sell that much. Then maybe we'll start to see this taper off, but I'm just looking at like the next few weeks. Oh.
Yeah, it'll be...
And this is one of those things that I noticed as I was signing up for stuff for review copies because the main site that I use auto-generates for the pages, even if they don't technically use the site. Just to be able to collect the requests. And I was noticing worse and worse as I got to about the 2-week mark. And that's what kind of prompted this was, oh dear God, why would you put this on Steam? Right. There's some that look decent, but then there's others that are wow. Huh. I didn't realize Alter Ego was coming on Steam.
Fancy.
And you have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
Not a clue.
Alter Ego was, if it's not the first major life simulator, it was one of the ones that was the biggest, that really got it big. I'm not sure if this is the same developer or not, but it's very text heavy. You like Choice of Games, and it looks like the same engine.
Oh yeah, I've seen something like this before. Add to wishlist. I've played a game similar to this before, actually.
Yeah, well, Alter Ego was released, I want to say, in the 90s? Let's see, Alter Ego. Oh, no, the original Alter Ego, assuming this is the same game. No, that's not the same game. Alter Ego Life Simulation. I'm trying to find a date on here. Well, let's put this... Oh, okay. I obviously played a re-release of it. Alter Ego was originally published in 1986 for the Commodore 64, MS-DOS, Apple II, and Macintosh.
Interesting.
And yeah, it's a remaster. A little surprising to see that on there, but granted, I had to sort through a lot of shit to find that. And maybe that's the big thing, is that they need to have their filtering it all comes back around to they need better tools.
Yep, or actual people doing some of this work.
Honestly, unless they have a team of interns doing it, I'm not sure if they could do that anymore.
It would be difficult. I think it would make a better dent than one of their automated systems will, at least at this point. They still don't have the right setup for it. It's still obvious lets a lot of garbage through, and
Well, now it's letting anyone that pays the toll.
Pretty much.
It does seem like once you get past July, things are starting to taper off, but then again, that's also, pretty far out. Still, a couple weeks.
Yeah, there's only two more weeks left in July, so.
Yeah, because we have Game Club next week.
Woohoo! Alright, well, I think I'm ready to move off of that and move on. I'm starting to get a little bit of the sleepy eyes. I might have to go get a cup of coffee.
Wakey, wakey.
Yay. Alright, let's move on to our weekly community corner. I think I can do this without coffee.
You're getting rid of me?
Yeah.
I have a friend that calls me Coffee Rage.
But we had no text or audio letters this week, sadly.
Yeah.
Bring them back, guys. We miss them. But we did have a few tweets, and a response to the question of the week, so I suppose we'll just move straight into that.
Yeah, I guess if we absolutely have to. Okay, well, we had Atom Smasher. Sweet, I found it. Thanks. I discovered you through the 1P versus 2P podcast. This was in response to us getting our Stitcher account up and running. Correct. So, hey, new place Jared has put us.
Now we're on Stitcher.
And Million Lights. This is what I've been alluding to for the last, couple hours now. Love your episodes, but please stop raping my ears. Another RPG, or RIP RPG. I've been in this Steam Greenlight too much. Too many RPG Maker games. RIP headphone users moment. And yeah, this was a feature and not a flaw. And this was something that I thought it was just me being loud, and I completely missed his original link 2 weeks ago talking about this, and it was coming down to the static, and he's sensitive to that.
Yep, so no more static. I like to have a little short transition, but I can find out a noise or a tone.
Well, no, I think I have an idea for it, and I'll probably not be this week because I do have other things I need to do. I mean, we have a portal to get through, and I have other things personally that I need to set up. That's going to take me a couple nights to get through.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, I do have an idea. Well, I guess I could say that here. How do you feel about incidental music?
Sure.
Get a little Seinfeld going on or something.
Yeah. That'd be okay.
But yeah, that's my idea. Instead of having the static and not have tones or anything, which they're all right occasionally, but I think that it's going to cause problems overall. And so that I never really noticed that you did all that much, especially because I don't listen to the podcast, because I'm here. I'm listening to it live.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've said before, now that I've, on normal weeks when I'm not working 50 plus hours, I've got more time and more energy. And so I've been doing a bit extra editing and including extra transitions and things like that. And I think I've said it before. The static comes from another podcast I listen to, the Sincast, which is from CinemaSins, their podcast, and they use just a little static sound to denote big transitions.
Yeah, but I think their
cuts.
Static sound was also a lot lower or in volume.
Yeah, it is a little bit lower. I mean, I told you earlier, like I listened back to it a bunch of times. So I was like, okay, that sounds pretty comfortable to my ears, but my ears are not everyone's ears, so I'm just gonna do away with the static altogether. Because I don't want to accidentally go, well, this is fine again, and then continue to hurt his ears or other people's ears. So I'm just gonna dump the static effect, and we'll do something else. It's fine. There's a million ways to do transitions out there, so I'll just try.
Eventually we'll find a good one.
Maybe. No promises.
I jumped to tweets immediately, mostly because I wanted to talk about Million Lights at the beginning of it. But we do have the question of the week. And we did get a really good response. My question was, with the post-E3 calm, which we definitely felt this week, do you have any general discussion topics you would want us to talk about in the coming weeks? And Jim responded, how do you judge a game's value? Hours of play? Cheap? The integral of your enjoyment over time? Uniqueness of the experience? ? And that is a really, really good topic.
That is an excellent question. I always love
completely subjective, and with a lot of room for let's agree to disagree.
Yeah, and I'm at an interesting transition. We'll have this more fully as a topic maybe next week or the next week.
Yeah, we'll have to see just how news pans out overall, because that's the thing, is that because we at least try to talk about the news, well, when we don't have 50 games to talk about.
Yeah. But
we try to talk a little bit about current events or current-ish events. I mean, to be fair, we talked about one that's been going on for the last month now.
Yeah. But anyways, I am at this interesting transition where I'm changing how I evaluate the sort of value of games. So yeah, that'll be a fun one.
This is going to be fun. And definitely one for the list. If we don't get in the next couple of weeks, it's definitely going to be on the list to talk about at some point.
Yeah, I've got several ideas too. I made like a little snarky tweet on there, like I have some or whatever, but I actually do have a few ideas.
Yeah, that's why I completely ignored you. I have some, and you're going to just link me our list.
No, I actually have a few new ones that I need to actually like put down before they get completely out of my mind to show to you. But that'll be for later.
Oh, my.
Tomorrow or the next day.
Oh my. You're gonna show me.
I'm gonna show you something.
But yeah, before I forget about the proper transition for this, if you wish to feed the moths that are in the mailbag, you can email us vglpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us like Million Lights and Adam Smasher did, VGL Podcast on Twitter. And the question of the week appears there Friday at some point in the evening. Completely random, just to annoy Jared.
Wah, wah. Okie dokie. Well, let's move on to our... Ooh, my kid. Move on to our final...
it's alright. I had a couple as well.
Move on to our final regular segment of the show, which is our Steam Discovery Queue. And it's my
what
week.
We're not doing, what we're not going to do, what we're doing on our channels.
We always do that at the very end.
Yeah, but that's a regular segment.
I guess you're just being mean to me right now. Steam Discovery
Maybe.
Queue. Go for the theme song. There, I said it.
What can I say? Whenever you say something like that, our last segment. Wait, what?
Well, it is our last segment. I mean, I guess you have the closing bit.
Well, that doesn't count.
No, that's...
Damn.
It's like the conclusion of the show.
They just gave me F1 2014 edition.
Nice.
Obviously, they don't know me that well if they're adjusting a racing sim, though. I'm getting jack and shit on this. I may have to do a second one.
Car X Drift Racing Online.
Why does that sound familiar?
Car X Drift Racing gives you the chance to immerse yourself in the real world of drifting. Unite with friends, tune your car, and burn some rubber. Looks pretty good. What?
It's just going to be F1 2015.
Nice.
Well, you don't like that? You're fine. 2015, here. It's still a few years old.
Well, it knows you. You buy older games at lower prices.
Jared, this is still $40.
Oh, well, never mind.
Because it's Codemasters. It's just... I wonder if I'm going to get another one in here. Oh, I'm getting absolute shit. Can you guess?
Did you get, what is it, Fidget Spinner Simulator or whatever?
No, F1 2017.
Oh, nice.
This one doesn't release for 5 weeks still, and it's $60. So even the one that is, 3-4 years old now, is still only $20 off. I've gotten absolutely nothing here.
Oh, hey, Star Trek Timelines. I like how I mentioned that earlier in the new and upcoming. It's like, yes.
I'm through my Discovery queue, and outside of laughing and at getting F1, I got nothing. So, let's go again. Maybe this is, the fact that we made fun of Steam tools too much. Did you get anything yet?
I got one. I mean, I put Drift, whatever it was, on there because I thought it looked neat.
Well, are you going to talk about it then? I mean, you pretty much said, it looks neat.
Yeah, I can go back and talk about it for a second. Let's see. I mean, it's a drift, multiplayer online drift racing game. For some reason, it has no relevance to me, despite the fact that I have several car games. But, I mean, it just looks like...
Yeah, but they don't have drifting.
It looks like a solid, well-done drifting game. I mean, that's... I think this is going for a bit more simulatory type feel as opposed to arcade. Like, they're showing off a racing wheel in the video and doing some drifting with that. Now they've got the 90-degree steering racks on there. Perfect. Nice.
What in the hell? I'm on my second Discovery queue because my first one was occupied by, a quarter of F1?
Yeah.
And this is a real-time battle game. It looks like RTS-esque, only sort of more of an in-between between MOBA-like battles and RTS, maybe? Because it doesn't look like it's a full RTS to me. At least from the few screenshots. Here, I'll drop you a link. This is Tooth and Tail. This doesn't release for 7 weeks. This is how far they're digging on.
Tooth and Tail is on my wish list already. I saw that the other day.
I didn't look, but it is considered relevant to me because of Company of Heroes. So maybe there's something going on there.
Yeah, I did that. I think the other day. I just saw it on the homepage.
It looks like it's somewhere between RTS and a MOBA, a bit more than what MOBAs are already. Because I realize MOBA is technically RTS already, but this is more so. Is this the good sniper game or the bad sniper game? There's two individual main sniper series on Steam. Okay, it looks like this may be the good one, I think. Oh, no, never mind. There's two main... I'll want this just because, I need something on my queue. This is Sniper Ghost Warrior 2. And this looks like... Well, it's still rated very highly, but there's one sniper game that is hyper-realistic, and there's one that's a bit more campy and cheesy, and this is the campy and cheesy one, it seems. Not a terrible game from the looks of things. Probably not my cup of tea, though. But, needs something.
Huh. I started a second queue as well. I only got one game. The Escapist 2. I didn't know they were making a sequel. Comes out in 4 weeks, August 22nd.
The Escapist 2, Max Security.
I mean, would this be a direct sequel to the first Escapist, or just more of the Escapist with new stuff?
Yes.
I don't know. Looks pretty neat. Oh, there's a train.
Well.
Is that like a prison train? I don't know, but I want it.
Well, I found one. A pixel art 16-bit dungeon crawler called Tandledeep. It looks pretty interesting. It's released. Well, it's on early access, so you gotta be careful about that. But art-wise, it looks pretty good. Which, there's a real in-between on pixel art that I've noticed. There's pixel art that we aren't artists and we don't have a lick of artistic talent, so we'll just cover it up with stickman made out of pixels. And then there's people that actually love the aesthetic. And this is a roguelike or roguelite, depending on just how you want your nomenclature. With a 16-bit dungeon crawler, which actually looks fairly decent. Granted, it is early access, so you got to be careful about that. So, no, it looks like it's proper roguelike because it's not real time. That's the real defining thing for me.
I mean, I don't know if I'd really like it.
Well, proper roguelike is kind of rare on Steam. You always get the roguelite, sort of Binding of Isaac-esque. But a proper turn-based system is a lot more rare. I just got the Escapist too.
Nice. It looks pretty good. What is this? Rusted Warfare.
Oh dear God. What in the fuck is this supposed to be? Okay, general rule for Steam. My first rule is that if you have a screenshot, I should be able to tell what the fuck. Do you think that's a decent rule?
I think so. I think that's a good rule.
I don't want to put this in the show notes just because, what the hell is this supposed to be? It's supposed to be, well, according to the blurb, it is a minimalistic puzzle game, which goal is to get the cube to finish using 4 directions in space. I mean, it's a little stilted in English, isn't it?
Sounds like the best.
Yeah, take a look at the screenshots and tell me what the fuck.
That is incredibly minimalistic design, actually. I kind of like that.
I think
look in the description. QOP is a minimalistic puzzle.
Well, that's what I just said.
Yeah.
Let's see. This looks interesting. This is called the Sundered. A horrifying fight for survival and sanity. A hand-drawn epic from the creators of Jordan Resist or Embrace. I mean, it has some very impressive art. I'm going to drop this in the show notes for you.
Okay.
Check that out.
Between 2 queues, I got 2 games.
Yeah, I'm actually getting more now, but I'm also I think I may have gotten through the F1 barrier. This looks very interesting.
What does Sundered or something else?
Yeah, Sundered. I absolutely love the art on it.
I'm not digging it all that much.
It looks a lot better in motion. The stills don't look that great, but it's just the little effects that they have. That's what I like. And maybe that's one of those games that it doesn't work that well as screenshots.
Yeah.
But just watch the trailer and look at some of the effects there. Doesn't look like a lot of people have played it, though. I mean, 72 all-time peak according to Steam charts.
Well, it's not... It's just pre-purchase. It comes out the 28th.
I'm showing a sale. Sorry, pre-purchase. I didn't even pay attention to... I just saw the buy button. Usually, whenever something's on pre-purchase, it has, buy it now, and it unlocks in, so much time.
Yeah.
And no, it's not an F1 game.
Well, that's good.
But this is another trucking simulator, and I've been playing a lot of Euro Truck, so hey, the Steam Discovery queue actually worked. And it suggests, I haven't even been doing my relevance, but this one, it's considered relevant because of Euro Truck Simulator 2 and Spin Tires. Scania Truck Driving Simulator. And it graphically doesn't look bad. I mean, simulators typically are not exactly graphically have high graphical fidelity. I'm just looking through the reviews. Definitely some mixed reviews on this. Granted, overall mostly positive. It does have some rather nice locales.
Yeah, it looks nice.
I have no idea how it plays.
It's only 99 cents. I'm really tempted to just buy this.
Yeah, that tempting, but at the same time, 99 cents. Ooh. Yeah,
well,
that's below the barriers. Like, why are they selling this for $1?
Well, it's 90% off right now.
True.
It's promotional. I'm buying it. 99 cents. Fuck it. Let's do it.
Do it live?
I'll report back on it next week.
Is this going to be... I wonder if this has multiplayer. Single player. Single player partial controller support. Is this going to be a game that we're going to both get and report back on?
If you really want to get it, knock yourself out.
Let's see. Here's... Okay, main differences from Euro Truck Simulator 2. No money or economy system. You do not do any business or management. Oh, that's a major down point for me.
It is.
You just earn points and skills and cannot be used to upgrade or buy anything. You just unlock the next level. STS, this game, is purely a driving school with driving tests. Huh.
That'll be fun. I like driving school.
So this is basically... if the mechanics are similar to Euro Truck Simulator, a way to improve in Euro Truck. I think I'm going to pass on it, honestly.
It'll be something I can play with my kid. Totally worth it.
Yeah, so I just sold you a game.
Yep, I already bought it. I'll download it later.
In general, every Euro Truck Simulator 2 player should play STS before playing a Euro Truck because it's like going to driving school to practice and get a license before you can drive a truck across Europe. Well, a little late for that. Should have shown me this, how many hours ago? 114 hours ago on Euro Truck. But if you're interested in Euro Truck, well, there's something to get your feet wet, I guess.
Indeed.
But if Euro Truck doesn't toot your horn, well, I guess that won't either. And we are done. We both had to go through two. My second queue was a lot better to me.
My second queue wasn't any better. I got a lot of garbage.
Hey, my second queue didn't have a single F1 game. I just thought it was hilarious. In one queue, I got 3 F1 games. There should be some sort of system that says that, you can't get more than one from a single series in a single discovery queue.
Yeah, fair enough, I suppose. But what if you find a game at a series that you really like, so you add it to your wish list, and then the next one in the list pops up?
In a single queue.
No, I mean in the same queue. Well, I guess it pre-assigns your queue to you, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it pre-assigns it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because you could look at your queue on the Steam store front page and see the first, like 4 or 5 games in it?
Yeah, that's a good point. I just didn't think of it.
Besides, if you add it to your wish list, then it'll change it for the next queue and make the other ones show up more likely.
Yeah.
So, time for you to go first?
Indeed, we've reached the portion of the podcast where I go first and tell you about my stuff. Coming up on my channel this week, there is Divinity. There is going to be the podcast, of course, and maybe a couple of other things if I find enough time to get some editing done and some rendering done. But I'm not going to make too many promises because I've got, once again, another crazy week. It is important to announce that there will be no stream Friday night. Friday is my anniversary, July the 21st. So Katie and I are going to go do some stuff. And then we're going to go do some stuff.
Well, I hope King wants a brother or sister.
I'm thinking about trying to stream maybe Thursday night instead. This obviously will come out after that. So hopefully everybody is keeping an eye on Twitter. I will, of course, tweet everyone if I manage to swing that. It also might be Saturday. Never know. Just follow me on Twitter, at JMA4707. I know I'm skipping the YouTube part, but that was a perfect time to slide that in. But I've just ruined it by calling it out. I tweet about all kinds of things on Twitter, and that is the best place to get up-to-date information on what I'm doing and what the hell's going on with me. Also, on YouTube, if you want to see the content that I mentioned before I transitioned to the Twitter shout-out, you can do so by searching for Gaming Psychologist. You'll find all of my stuff there. I'm in triple digits. I've been solidly
you've successfully caught up on Divinity.
Yep, and I've been in triple digits on my YouTube channel for 2 weeks now. So hopefully that's permanent, and it only continues to grow. I'd like to hit, 200 in the next year.
Okay, so I should quickly follow?
Don't be mean to me, Rage. But also, talking of streaming, which I did a moment ago, if you want to watch me stream games on Twitch, you can do so over on twitch.tv/jarthur4707. Typically, I stream games every Friday night. I actually built a list of games to have scheduled so that everybody would know ahead of time what was going on. And then the list is now just completely gone from Google Drive. So I'm not sure if I accidentally deleted it, which is possible. I've been very tired this past week and moving lots of documents around. Or I accidentally VCR'd it and copied over it.
There's a reference the kids will understand. You see, back in the day, we only had so much media, and they came in these things called cassettes. And these cassettes were these little plastic things that had tape in them. And, tape... Well, this was before digital, and... What?
I'm falling asleep over here. Just listening to this history lesson. No, anyways, where was I? You distracted me. Oh well.
You're just going to leave the giant calls in?
It doesn't matter anymore. It's fine. It's fine.
How about add you on Steam?
That is correct. You should add me on Steam and be my friend on Steam. I accept all friend requests on Steam. My Steam username is jarthur4707. All of you people have been lovely, lovely people. And I want some more lovely, lovely people on my friends list to talk to every now and then. So do that.
And if you wish to let them know exactly what train wreck you've come from, the password for this week is Gumption. Gumption.
I feel like you've used Gumption before.
It didn't show up on my list.
Okay, fair enough.
Or on my used list.
Fair enough.
And plus it's that lovely old man word, right?
It is. Lovely old man are the best.
I mean, I'm looking at my full list here, and I do not see it on here. And yes, I keep the full list.
Fair enough. All right, what about you? What's going up on your channel and stuff?
Well, since you're actually putting out or caught up on Divinity, also since we're recording again, Divinity's coming back, tomorrow for us, but in the past for you. And that also means that we should be pretty much synced on our episodes again, for the time being. I'll be releasing episode 40, if I recall correctly. And other stuff. Quantum Conundrum's still ongoing. I think I'm in the home stretch. I need to do another recording of that probably tomorrow night. And that may be my last recording. Yeah, I got things to say about that game. but I'm going to wait till it ends just to have all my thoughts. Because honestly, my Let's Play stuff and me reflecting on it here is probably about the closest I get to a proper review. Unless I worked on a game website, then, my Quick Look series probably would count as proper review. And, well, RimWorld, still ongoing. Crazy shit's going on this week. I mean, crazy shit. If you want to see just how nutty RimWorld could get, watch, I would say, 106 through, 110. Because, yeah, the storyteller in that game hated me. Oh, all right. Yeah, interesting times. And there's a reason why my latest episode, at least right now for the next... Well, actually canceled that. My latest episode until an hour and a half ago was named Interesting Times. Whew.
Sounds interesting.
And timely. Well, except for the whole hour and a half part. Let's see. The Sunday Sampler is still ongoing. Oh, I'm hoping that, that whole retweet thing. I'd love to see that happen again because that was hilarious. That's only the second or third time that I've had a developer, directly contact me. First time I've had them completely deleted, but it's just one of those things that, oh yeah, we love your video. Oh crap, he doesn't love our game. Quick, delete. But I actually said I enjoyed it. It's just, it's short. And, doesn't have proper full screen, which is a bad thing. And doesn't even have a way to do windowed mode properly. Not that I think you would want to play a game that click around a lot in a window, but that's beside the point. But Sunday Sampler should be ongoing. Have a game that, at least title-wise, assuming I don't play anything else, I'm still not going to do my major project because, especially this week, I just don't have the time to put into it. And honestly, a lot of these smaller games are, a couple of hours and I'm pretty much set to record. I have a game that sounds like Jared should be playing and analyzing big time. And I'll share the title with you.
Should I say or stay quiet?
Stay quiet. But unless you really want to analyze this, as soon as I find it on here. And yes, this is teasing to go to my channel or just to listen in next week. This may be still locked. So I'll just text you what it is.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, it's not what it seems. Well, it also would help if I give you the proper title, but it's close enough that you should be able to find it. It's one of those things that I get some games that just look odd. And this is definitely one of them. And I gave you the wrong second word, but close enough on the first one.
Yeah, I found it already. Huh.
Yeah, it doesn't release until Friday.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting, huh?
Very much different than what I was expecting based on the title.
Yeah, and I think that may hurt them in the long run, but I guess we'll see when I go to play it. And that, at least right now, is the planned game. Which, I know. Tease. Check it next week. It gives you a reason to come in for the next episode. Unless you don't care, then it doesn't. But you can find, the next Sunday Sampler and all the rest of my content, including this podcast, which appears there Fridays at noon, on my YouTube channel, Gaming with Caffeine Rage, or you can see me tweet somewhat randomly about some, actually a little bit off the wall topics as of late on Twitter, Gaming with CR. One of my later tweets has been, I've noticed that floating hands or arms in VR games are about as common as legs in FPS. Have you noticed that?
No, I haven't. I was thinking
there's so many games that VR, it's floating hands.
I guess, yeah, no, you're right. Now that I think about it, pretty much every VR game has floating hands. Or floating guns arms? Or something. There's no arms. Yeah, just like feet with no legs.
Yeah, see, I'm being insightful. Sort of.
You are.
Actually, I'm more surprised it's not.
Little bit of a golf clap, maybe a little loud, but close enough.
And I apologize, Bills. That's bad. Because I'm looking at the waveform and it kind of peaked there. I think. Oh yeah, definitely peaked. That's going to be interesting to see what it sounds like. Anyway, that's all my content. So, if you wish to contact us about all the random stuff that we talked about in this rather meandering episode, you can contact us once again, vglpodcast@gmail.com with your letters, voicemails, gaming-related topics, or just tweet us at VGLpodcast on Twitter. If you wish to help pay the bills, well, we have a Patreon for that, patreon.com/VGLpodcast. And our website for the time being is vglpodcast.podbean.com, where you can find the RSS feed, show notes, and, well, pretty much everything that we've talked about this week. And also a quick note, this isn't in the notes, but next week is Game Club for Portal and Portal 2, so be sure to play those and get your stuff in for that. You have 1 week until the testing is complete. Our intro and outro music is On the Ground by Kevin McLeod, as well as our Discover Q music, which is Doobly Doo, also by Kevin McLeod, and hopefully he doesn't copyright strike us. And his work can be found at incompetech.com.
And as always, as his lovely music starts to roll across my voice, bye-bye now.
Please don't sue us.
Bye-bye.
Don't sue us. Sue Jared.
You know, if he decided to sue people, he'd take down half the internet, at least.
He would take down most of YouTube. I mean,
so many people use his music.
He's considered the composer of YouTube for a reason.
Yeah.
If Kevin McLeod goes insane, we're done. Just show over.
Indeed.